Open tabs, margin notes, highlighter, bleed through quotes, research minds, steady eye patterns only she can note. I-90 fog, whispering under wheel, skyline, afterglow, 2 states, packed rooms, quiet minds that know, no sign needed out front. They circle to a voice, questions rise before she starts, curiosity by choice. She pivots mid-lecture, checks who's leaning in close. Say the part you skip out loud, that's where the learning goes. Heads home with the speakers up, Biggie in the background, mind still mapping theories while the city slows down. She teaches the why behind the crime, the hurt behind the face, Philly in her backbone, psychology in her grace. Don't let the hype fool you, she stands 10 stories tall. She don't just teach the lesson, she teaches you through it all. Late nights with case files open, notes in the margin glow. She's showing you your story's roots, so you can choose where to go. Yeah. Biggie quotes inside the slides, right next to coping skills. Spread love between the lines of how a nervous system feels. Long days, quiet grit, humor in the punchlines. You are more than this moment, written 10 times, old assessments in a folder, ink dust on the sleeve. She can map anxious attachment before you know you grieve. 1 foot in Jersey lecture halls, 1 on the Philly street. Home is where she learned to fight, classes where we don't repeat. Grown kids texting check-ins, pride she doesn't post. She teaches minds all day, then goes in mother's most. Case files, true crime, mind behind the scenes. She doesn't tell you what they did, she shows you what it means. Your story is not your diagnosis. You are allowed to rewrite it.
Hi guys, how you doing? Sorry, I'm alright. Oh, that was a good catch on my part. I almost just dropped something. That would have sucked. Alright, let me put this over here. There we go. How's everyone doing? Sorry, I had to make sure that I got my shower and everything done because I have to go bright and, ooh, I'm showing Bubbage over here. I have to go bright and early to, where's Ava going to school? To Ava's new university. I don't even know that I want to say it. I probably have before, but just in case. Who do we have in the house tonight? You guys, I'm feeling Jamaica tonight. Actually, I was just freezing. My house is so cold, so I grabbed this and then I put the belt around my head to keep my hair out of my face. Okay, so we have Harlot's here. Hi, Harlot. Hi, Sirius. Jen Pop Elwop's here. Cuffy's here. Hey, you guys. My girlfriend Truth is here. Yes. Who else is here? Tony. We have Tony in the house. Real Sisters in Crime. I like the name. Yes. Hey. Hey, Fancy Nancy. I love saying Fancy Nancy. I don't know why. Who else do we have? Ivy's here. Hey, Ivy. Heidi. Hey, Heidi's here. I feel like I'm doing attendance, you guys. Is that bad? Oops. Whatever. I'm a teacher. I do attendance. We'll have to deal with that. Attendance it is. So, how's everyone doing? Hopefully well. Hopefully, I gotta stop giving so much boobage today. What is happening? Yes, good to see you guys. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Are you guys ready to talk about Mackenzie? I have to say, I was like up in the air on whether I should do Mackenzie or David because we've covered David before and oh my gosh, that case is out of control. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite as interesting. I don't even know what the word is, but it is like demonic. So at some point, he is one sick puppy, Heidi. I am going to go over him at some point. Maybe not tonight, but I do want to still go over him. I just figured there's so many people covering him tonight that I would keep it Mackenzie for those of you that just wanted something different. than that. Crew's here. Hey, crew. How you doing? The courthouse in LA was insane today, says Fancy Nancy. Well, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I saw, I'm sure you guys saw it too, they did a drawing because you can't, there's no cameras. Could you imagine that poor kid's parents? They had to tell the parents like when to not look. I thought it was horrifying. Horrifying. So, God bless those parents. Everybody keep them in your prayers. I hope I said hi to everyone because I just realized that I didn't have it on all chat. I had it on top chat. So if for some reason I didn't shout you out, just write something else in chat so I say it so that I could give you a shout out. I like knowing who's here. Welcome in, you guys. All my friends are here. Yeah, God bless her parents. Lona, hope you got my email with the links I sent you. Okay, so let me do True Talk real quick. This week, I fell behind. Or I am behind. Not I fell behind. It's only Wednesday. I'll catch up. But, let me see. I'm going to look right now, crew. I'm going to look. You sent it to my Gmail. Can I look up, like, if I look up crew, will it come up? Let's see. I guess I'll tell you. So I didn't think I had anything because I'm a little bit behind, but I'm like, wait, I don't remember seeing anything. And I'm looking. So crew, here you go. Ready? Sometimes people spell, well, actually, you know what? I almost said your real name. Woo, cuff you. Could you please tell crew my email because I don't say it, crew. And I just went back 100 emails. So sometimes people spell my first name wrong. So that could be it. Should be under, okay, hold on, let me see. SNAFU. Let's see. No, I don't have it. So check and see if, yeah, resend it tonight. I'm so glad that I didn't miss it though, because I am behind, let's be honest, but I'm not that behind. Usually I'll be like, I saw it, I read it, I just didn't get back to you. And I was going to say, I didn't see that. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay, good. All right, so we have that. That's done. The next thing real quick is I just want to make sure that I have our, here we go. We're going to be using, I just want to make sure I had the document. I do. So with that being said, hopefully everyone, hi Juliet, how you doing? I'm glad that you're here tonight, everyone. Thank you for being here, you guys. Don't forget to check my spam folder, says Harlot, because the first one she sent me went to spam. Okay, that actually I have 20 in spam, so, but none of them are that. But thank you for saying that, Harlot, because that does happen sometimes. And I do remember now that you said that is what happened, that happened that first time. Hi guys, how you doing? Come on in, you guys. Welcome. I'm so glad to see everyone here tonight. A well-known former prosecutor, now author defense attorney friend of mine, was there and said her parents were distraught and left early today. Lots of financial testimony. Do you think with the David case, with the financial testimony real quick, do you think, well, this is the thing, wouldn't you think that them uncovering all his financials, that it would be a good thing because they would have it documented of like what he's worth? I'm not sure though. Hi, wise woman. How you doing? I hate that the email things just put our emails whenever they want. That's why I don't have my email attached to my page, because when I first did this, I did, and it was a little crazy. So I took it down and I figured I'll just tell people, or I'll write it in that moment and we'll figure it out. So that's what I've been doing. Harlot, I got a happy poop. Oh, thanks, Queen. You put a smile on my face already, and we just got here. Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. What else do we have? And a makeup brush? Yes. Thank you. I'm going to have to do like a get ready with me video someday. And you guys could see what it's like. Maybe we'll do like a members only get ready with me. And you guys could see my craziness before we start. Thank you so much, Harlot. I appreciate you. That was very generous. Thank you. You guys, so tonight we are going to be talking. Hold on, let me just pull up my notes. No need for me to just, yeah. Oh my gosh, who is this? Ivy? Ivy gifts me a happy boop. You guys are so good to me. Thank you. Thank you, Ivy. That was so nice, you guys. Woohoo. All right. I have a smile. We're smiling. Let me share. Okay. So, tonight, let me just make sure I have the right thing up. I do. All right. So, tonight we are going to be looking at trial transcript volume 2 of 4. All right, let me just make sure I have the right one up. And thank you to the fabulous all right, hold on. Legally guilty, factually innocent. I have to think about it before I say it because I don't want to say it wrong. Thank you so much for giving me this stuff. You guys are great. All right, let's see. Where did I just put it? Here it goes. All right, part 2. We have it open. What was this? What is happening? Thank you, Ivy. I love flowers. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. You said I always worry about interrupting. Trust me, I'm not going to get mad for a jewel interruption. Just Call Me Heidi says prosecutors are showing the why David would have the reason to do something like that. You know what's interesting too, Heidi? He sleeps at night because he, in my opinion, no diagnosis, but well, you know what? Not for nothing. If he's found guilty of whoever's found guilty of this crime, you have to be. I mean, I can't imagine that person doesn't have some sort of personality disruptance, let's say. You know what I mean? Not to mention sadism. And from what we hear from every single person, one of the things you guys know that as a researcher, I am big on finding themes. And one of the themes that keeps jumping out to me about the last 2 days in court is that everybody, it didn't matter who it was that reported on it, everybody said that he stared at the screen, like the pictures, the entire time. That he was just looking. And I think it was Trapmore Ross or whatever was saying that there was an audible gasp in the room. It was horrifying. I literally felt bad watching him describe it yesterday. He was you could tell he was he literally said it's the worst thing he's ever seen. So, you know what I mean? Oh, thank you. Crew resent it. So, Crew, I will check it out. And I'll get back to you. And Twisted Crime Tales, how you doing? How you doing? All right, so with tonight, we will be looking at the MACKENZIE SHIRILLA. I have the actual transcripts thanks to this fabulous group of people that we have here. Oh, Oh, Casey's here. Hi, Casey. Thank you. Oh my God, Casey, thank you. That was so kind of you. Thank you so much, Casey. I appreciate you. I really do. All right, let me move this the right way so that I always feel like my camera like cuts half of my face off, so I look back and I'm like, are you serious? So let me do this from now so that I set myself up for success there. I'll still do it somehow, I'm sure, but yeah, it is what it is. So this right real quick, what I have up on the screen, let me see if I can make it bigger for you guys. Hold on. I can. Let me just make it bigger. All right, let me see what that looks like for you guys. Oh, that was too big. I blew it up way too much. This should be better. Okay, there we go. We're gonna leave it like that. All right, so, and if you can't read it, I'm going to go to the pages that are relevant to the point that I'm trying to make this evening, okay? With that being said, all right, here we go. Oh, if only my notes would there we go. All right. Tonight, we're not beginning, we're not going to be talking about diagnosis. I feel like I always have to say this, you guys, because I have someone specifically that loves to try and, like, I don't know, take everything I say and dissect it. So let me just say that. We're not diagnosing anybody on the internet. We are going to look at behavior patterns and look at the psychology behind some of the things, but we're using the transcripts that aren't you know, out there everywhere. I don't see them everywhere. So I think that this is good to show evidence of things that I'm noticing. It just helps, and it gives everybody like a new or different look on things. So Birdie's in the house. How you doing, Birdie? Thank you for being here. Okay, tonight we're going back to the final hours before Dominic Russo, Davion Flanagan died. We're going to move in order. So we're going to go from the graduation party. We're going to go from the graduation party that they were at. They were actually at 2 graduation parties, you guys. But we're going to look at everything in order, okay? So it was the graduation party, then the gathering, we're going to call it, the later gathering. We're going to look at what friends remember, what Snapchat preserved, what Life 360 displayed, and what the toxicology could and could not tell the court, and what the vehicle records in the seconds before the impact says. So this is really going to focus in on those last, that last little time before the accident. Joanne's here. What's up, friend? And YouTube Bad Actors is here. And Joanne, thank you so much. I got a happy poop. Thank you, Queen. That always makes me laugh. Thank you. The trial is rarely built from one like piece of evidence, right? So it's built from layers of evidence. A witness may remember the mood, but not in that minute. Even an app that preserve substance but can't replay a thought. So a vehicle, we're going to see the vehicle report data. Her dad argues that it records it. What does it say? It's not linear. It just records the data. So it doesn't really tell a story in the way that he believes the prosecution tried to make it sound. You know what I mean? Oh, are we roboting? Please tell me no. Hopefully not. I'm just, oh, look who's here. Legally guilty and factually innocent. We just got done thanking you for these fabulous documents. Thank you for being in the house. Hopefully I'm not roboting. I'm just going to try to tune it out. I'm going to put this in God's hands and just hope that it goes the way that it's supposed to go. So let's see what happens. So first, let me always make that boundary clear at the beginning, that the testimony is evidence, but the testimony is still given by human beings that have viewpoints, memories, relationships, and limitations. Digital records can be powerful, but they must be authenticated and interpreted. Expert testimony can translate technical evidence, but experts also work within the limits of the day they were given. We're going to preserve those distinctions in what we look at tonight. We're also going to keep Dominic and Davion visible. This is not merely a puzzle about what MACKENZIE did. It's about two young men who lost every future hour they should have had. If we discuss the final hours responsibly here, which is what I hope to do tonight, I want to look at, I want to make that our goal. I want to look at this responsibly. That's all I ask. You know what I mean? So let's just keep it responsible, especially in chat. Thank you, Harlot. Harlot just reminded everybody on Discord that we're live. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, so the first thing we're going to show you here in volume 2, it contains a social timeline, the exhibits, all the things. So I'm going to go to the transcript, page 3 and 4. So one sec, let me just go to page 3 and 4. All right, here's page 3. Okay. So this is going to show, this is just showing here. I put on here, this shows us all of the different things, the closing, all the things that we needed. I put that there so that I can skip to the page that I needed. That's why I did that. Let me pan out a little bit so you guys could see the whole thing a little bit better. All right, there you go. Maybe I can do it a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about the graduation party real quick. All right. Okay, so the graduation party, this should be popping up on your screen in a second. And this is the first thing that I wanted to look at here. Also remember that everything we're looking at is in hindsight. What's up, Jeff? Welcome in. We're looking at everything in hindsight, you guys, so I want to keep that in mind. It's so much easier when you look in hindsight to be like, oh, why didn't we notice this? Or, oh, why didn't somebody say this or do that? Like, I want to keep those things in mind because I don't want to, just keep that in mind. That's all I ask. We know that the tragedy occurred. All the details will begin to flow with significance, hopefully. So a person leaves early and suddenly it looks, suspicious here. It looks sus. Somebody seems quiet and the silence becomes accused. Someone appears normal. We're going to see all of these things, and it's going to be all based on the testimony of the friends that were at the events. So starting with Kelly Vraja. Oh, I don't know if I said that right. So it's Vraja. Okay, so Kelly testified about her graduation party on July 30th. This is useful because it gives us a timeline, and that helps us anchor where people were at, what times of the night. So who's present? Was MACKENZIE there? Was Dom there? And Davion? It kind of shows did everybody show up together? It helps give events in a way that you need in a trial. What's up, Cindy? Alexa's here. Hey. Oh, look, all the friends are coming. Come on in, you guys. Okay, so as we read, I'm going to read this real quick. I'm going to read parts of this. And as we read, listen for the difference between observation and interpretation. So I saw is different from I assumed. She arrived around is different from a device's timestamp. They seem fine does not establish that every private conflict was absent. So likewise, a witness not seeing an argument does not prove that an argument didn't occur outside of their view. So keep that in mind. This is the correct way, in my opinion, to look at a social scene testimony. So this isn't a personality test, right? We're going to look at this as a timeline. The party gives us a point of departure. The later evidence will tell us where the phones and vehicles went next. So here we go. We are on the right page. All right. So let me look at this. I'm going to read a little. It's Kelly. Sorry, I do have that written down. So it says, okay, Kelly, I'm going to take you back to July 30th and July 31st. And then it says, strike that, July 30th. Do you recall that day specifically? Yes. Why do you recall July 30th of 2022? Kelly says, it was my graduation party. Okay, and where was your graduation party held? At my house. At any point in time, did you see MACKENZIE SHIRILLA at your graduation party? Yes. Approximately what time do you say MACKENZIE SHIRILLA showed up to your graduation party? Around like 10:15, 10:30. And did she show up alone? No. Who was she with? She was with Dominic and Davion. Do you know Dominic? Yes. How do you know Dominic? Through MACKENZIE. And do you know Davion? Yes. How do you know him? Through a good friend of mine named Joe. How long have you known these individuals for? And Kelly says, since 2020. Okay, at the time these three individuals arrived at your graduation party, can you explain for the court what the tone of the party was like? The tone of the party was laid back. It was chill. There was like a fire, friends around, some games. If you could tell the court approximately, how long did MACKENZIE, Dominic, and Davion stay at your party? Like 20, 30 minutes. Okay. And when they arrived at your party, what did you do? I welcomed them, and I was playing a game while they were there. What game were you playing? Cup pong? At any point in time, did MACKENZIE say anything? Yes. What did she say to you? She called me over and asked me if I tripped. Did you respond to her? Yes. What did you say? I said no. Okay, did MACKENZIE say anything else to you? We were just having like a casual conversation. Okay, did you observe the three individuals doing any drugs? No. Did you observe any of the individuals drinking any alcohol? No. Did they bring anything with them? Yes. What did they bring with them? A bottle of Patron, a weed pen, and I did not see the acid. How did you know there was a weed pen? Because it was in Davion's hand. And did you see anyone using the weed pen? No, not at the moment. Did you see anyone drinking the alcohol? No. What happened next? After the conversation that I don't trip, they were debating on going to somebody else's house, or they were debating on tripping that night. Okay, were you involved in that conversation? No. Did you hear any response to the conversation? No. Okay, what happened next? I continued to play my game pong cup. My game cup pong. We call it beer pong. So that I'm getting like caught up. What happened after that? 15 minutes passed by, and then they stood up and said they were going home. I mean, going somewhere else. Are you aware of how they arrived at your house that day? Kenzie was driving. At any point in time, did you learn there had been an incident that night early into the next morning? I found out the next day in the afternoon. Okay. Did you have the opportunity to speak with Strongville Police Department about the information that you just testified to? Yes. And did you meet with them? Yes. Were you able to provide a statement to the Strongville Police Department? She says, yes. If I showed you a copy of that statement you gave to the police department, would you be able to recognize it? Again, yes. And then they show it. All right, there's nothing there. Let me see. I think that was the last part of that I wanted to show. Let me just make sure. Oh, no, I have to go further. Hold on. Okay. They're just going. Okay, so no, they have somebody else taking the seat. So I think that was it. Oh, wait, raise your right hand. Who's next? Mr. Troop. State calls Angelo Russo. Okay, So that is the end of the thing that I wanted to say with her on that part. So notice here what this testimony does not do. It does not tell us what anybody was talking about. It doesn't diagnose intoxication by vibe. It doesn't establish intent. It tells us what a witness saw at her own party within the slice of time and physical space available to her. That may sound modest, but modest evidence is often good evidence. Courtroom analysis becomes unreliable when the demand that every witness solve the whole case. So Kelly's job in this record was not to solve it. Her testimony just helped place people in time and describes an observed social setting. Okay, so now the group moves. The next location is important because it brings in another witness, another environment, and a later departure into the early morning hours. So we are going to move on to this next part, which is, hold on, Mackenzie's we had to read the portion. I wrote myself a note. So this should be, oh, I thought I just read that. No. Oh no, I didn't. Oh my god. Oh my god, what was his name? Was it Paul? Paul Burgess. Let's see. Is this who I'm looking for? I think this is. Okay, so I'm going to skip the part where they ask who Paul is. And I'm going to jump to where it starts with, I'm going to take you back to July 30th and July 31st, 2022. Do you recall that time frame? Yes. Could you explain for the court what was going on July 30th, 2022? And then the court says, can you give a time frame, time of day or something? And then the question gets re-asked. Let's first start with starting around noon. And answer, and this is Paul. I went to work. This is her friend that she eventually goes to his house. I worked at 808 Shave Ice at the time. My parents were out of town that weekend and my mom babysits, so I never get to have friends over. So I wanted to have friends over for once. I text Rosie Graham to ask if they wanted to come over to my house that night, and then that night my car broke down before coming home. So then I got in a bad mood and I wasn't really in the mood to hang out anymore. And we kind of discussed going to someone else's house, but I decided since we never go to my house that we could go to my house. And then question. Paul, I'm going to stop you there and ask you a couple of follow-up questions, okay? What was your first shift that you were working at the 808 Shave Ice? What time? Paul, I don't remember. It had to have been past 5 probably. Okay. And you said that you spoke with an individual named Rosie, is that correct? Yes. What is Rosie's last name? Graham. How do you know Rosie Graham? I've known her my whole life. You stated that you said you were deciding where you were going to hang out. Who's we? Me and Rosie. Was there anybody else included in that group? No, I'm not. I'm pretty sure there was never a group. It was just me and Rosie. Do you recall what time you got off work that night? It was quite late. I don't know the sun was down, but I don't entirely remember. I'm sorry. Okay, you discussed that you were in a bad mood. Is that right? Yes. Why were you in a bad mood? Because my car broke down. After your car broke down, can you explain what happened next during that night? So, I kind of sat there and I'm really shy to my coworkers, so I was scared to ask for help. So I called my mom and cried about it, but they were out of town, so they just couldn't do anything. My coworker, Julia Spicer, drove me home, which was really nice of her. Did you eventually hang out with, I think it says Rosie Graham that night? Yes. And did, I think it says Mackenzie SHIRILLA show up with it? Oh, maybe it says Rosie. I don't know, but it's asking, did somebody show up with anybody else? Yes. Who all was at your house the evening of July 30th, 2022 after you got off work in the evening? I don't know why they redacted some of this. Answer. It probably says Mackenzie SHIRILLA, Dominic Russo, Davion Flanagan, Rosie, and, oh, who was the other person? Was it Nina? Do you recall approximately what time they arrived at your home? It had to have been quite late. 11:30. Do you know where they were coming from? I don't know. When this group of individuals arrived at your house, what did you all do? What we usually do, we hung out. We watched music videos. I know we went outside and smoked some weed, but I didn't want to because I was already in a bad mood. Okay, if you could describe for the court, what was the overall tone of the evening while spending time with these individuals? It was quite chill. I couldn't imagine what could have happened. I mean, from what I've seen, it felt like just a normal sleepover. I didn't notice anything weird. Okay, would you consider this a get-together or party that you were having? Not at all. Okay, you stated that you went out to the backyard and that you smoked some weed, is that correct? Yes. Did anyone else partake in any other drugs? No. Okay. Did anyone use or drink alcohol? No. How long would you say that you were outside for? I'm not sure. It had to have been like 10, 15 minutes. What did you do next during that night, Paul? I had went back in a while they were still outside, and I kind of was just watching TV, and I was getting really tired. Then Mackenzie came in to check on me, and I asked her if anyone would be mad at me if I went to sleep, and she said, no one would get mad at me. Do you approximately know what time this was? It had to have been past midnight. What did you do next? I went to sleep. And when you went to sleep, where was everybody else? They had to have been in my house at that point. Okay, and do you know what they were doing? No, I don't. What do you recall next from that night? I remember waking up around 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 3 or 4 a.m., and I saw, and it's redacted, and Davion watching South Park. That was about it. I didn't really see anyone else, but I did see Kenzie asleep on my couch. You said they were watching South Park? What is South Park? I don't like that show, it's a TV show, right? Yes, sorry. These two individuals were watching TV show and Mackenzie was asleep on the couch? Yes. Do you know where Dominic was at that time? No, I do not. Was anyone using rugs when you came downstairs? No. Was anyone using alcohol? No. What did you do next? I went to sleep and then I woke up. And what do you recall next after waking up? I remember going downstairs and everyone was gone, and Rosie texted me and told me about the crash, and I couldn't believe it. Again, for the record, Paul, approximately, what time was it when you came down and saw Mackenzie asleep on the couch? Around 3 or 4 a.m. And then Miss Kupak, 1 moment, please, Your Honor. Nothing further, Your Honor. And then cross-examination. Paul, my name is Jim McDonald, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, okay? This is Mackenzie's attorney. Yes. Chill party? Yes. If even a party, right? Yes. Everybody was smoking weed except for you. And I'm pretty sure Kenzie did not either. People were talking about mushrooms, right? Yes. As far as you know, nobody did any mushrooms? Yes. And when you were asleep, you don't know what was happening? I don't know. You didn't see Dominic and Mackenzie fight at all? No. Everything seemed fine between the two of them? Yes. Who were the people that were there? You, and then he repeats them. And you saw them for 6 hours, no fighting, everything was good, right? Yes. Mr. McDonald, no further questions. And then it says the court redirect, nothing based off of that. The court, you're all done. Thank you. The witness was excused. You guys, one of the things that I want to say here before I move on that I think is really interesting was that we see in one of the jail calls, Mackenzie to her mom, the day that this was, and this is interesting because I could probably go back and attach the date of this to the jail call. But she says to her mom, she's like, oh, where was Dom at 4 a.m.? Did you hear that? Paul said that he was able to say where everyone was, but they didn't know where Dom was. She's like, that makes me think so that bothered her big time. Not knowing where Dom was. What do you guys think? Because let's be serious. Dom could have been in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean? Dominic and Davion and what happened to them. I want to be an advocate for victims and their families. Like Dominic and Davion, for example. They're gone and can't tell their story. Cindy, I think that is absolutely beautiful. It is. It's beautiful. Good for you. You guys, so where do you guys think Dom was? Tell me in chat. Does anybody know? Like this is my thing. Oh. He said he knew where Davion, and somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Alexa, you know a lot about this because they redacted it. Wasn't it Davion and Nina on the couch watching, or wherever, watching South Park, and Mackenzie was sleeping on the couch? If that's correct, then it was Dom and Rosie. Oh, the kitchen maybe just called, says Heidi. Okay. Maybe the kitchen. Do you think he was with Rosie somewhere? And not for nothing, I could see Mackenzie getting furious over this. True says, well, to be fair, if they went 6 hours without fighting or fussing, they were due for one when they pulled off from the party. So, truth, I got one even further. And I don't know that the defense ever brings it up, and I think this is like a miscarriage, like for her, like I think this is I said a miscarriage of justice. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. What's it called when your attorney doesn't do it, like doesn't do, what is it, or no, when your defense attorney doesn't, you don't feel like they helped you. You guys know what I mean. Ineffective counsel, I think it's called. Ineffective counsel. I don't remember what I just said, but it wasn't that. But anyway, you said you think Dom was in the kitchen. Do we know, Alexa, was Dom in the ineffective counsel? Thank you, Alexa. Do we know if Dom was sending mushrooms? Oh, I was sending I love yous on the phone around that time. Was it Dom's screen on the car that they turned the corner trying to show his alibi? His alibi? Oh, shit. JC. Joseph Scott Morgan did a show on this case tonight. He did. We're going to have to look into that. You guys, JC. That's interesting. So JC saying, if we look at Dom's, at the evidence, Dom's dad, there was a few people where Dom texted them that night, I love you type thing. That's so interesting because I believe, now that you just said that, JC, I believe his dad, ineffective assistance of counsel. Thank you, Harlot. That's what it's called. Thank you. You guys, I think, oh, Ivy. I appreciate that, Ivy. Thank you. Thank you so much. JC says mushroom I love yous is totally a thing. Has anybody else heard of mushroom I love yous? I'm trying to think of why that would be. I would be assuming that it releases neurotransmitters in your brain that make you feel happy, I guess. I know that, no, JC, I don't think that you're saying there's anything wrong with that. I see what you're saying, though. If that's a thing, then I'd want to know about it. Does anybody else know from experience if that's a thing? Serotonin. Yeah, good job, JC. I didn't want to be too, like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what mushroom I love yous are. So, in other words, like, once somebody is on mushrooms, it releases different neurotransmitters in your brain. So my assumption is that it would make you, and again, now let me just be honest here, you guys. I don't know that I've ever experienced mushroom I love yous. I've experienced or seen people experience the giggles. I guess that would be the same thing, right? Because if you're laughing, you're happy. It took your ADHD brain a minute to catch on. Yeah, Alexa, we're talking about the good mushrooms. The ones that Addie will never take. Addie, don't ever take them. It's not cool. We don't know what's in these things anymore. Unless, of course, you know somebody that, like, is growing them themselves. I'm just kidding, Addie. I'm just kidding. I didn't say it. It increases openness and Yes. So, okay, so I'm right. My hypothesis was correct. JC says it increases openness and a sense of connection to everyone in the universe, etc. That's why YouTube Bad Actors reminds us that's why it's called magic mushrooms. Duh. Okay, cool. Oh, cool. Okay, Alexa says I do actually, huh? Oh, awesome. You guys are great. So, it's supposed to, a wise woman says, it's supposed to cause you to have a more open mind and therefore share more love. That's what I assumed. So, being more open minded. I have a friend. No, you don't, Alexa. So, you got, I know, I need a friend too, a wise woman. Just saying. But you guys, just so you know, and I have it right over there. I don't want to go stop and go look for it, but I have like my American Psychological Association research magazines over there, and often, there's studies about the effects of psychedelics in treatment. Not the effects of the benefits of psychedelic treatment for people suffering from all kinds of mental illness. It's amazing. YouTube Bad Actor says, don't they grow from poop? So, YouTube Bad Actors, I don't know the recipe, but I know that you don't need cow manure anymore. They can be grown on their own. There's like a certain way that you have to like do it and clip it and all the things. And again, I don't know the recipe, but I'm sure you could find one. I haven't gotten any from her. I'd like to learn how to... Oh, yes, Alexa. I read one article about that. So it was even on the cover. Wise Woman, that's probably one of the ones that I'm talking about that I have over there. And it's being used in all ways. So Alexa was saying about microdosing. So everything from... Oh, yes, JC, poop-free is a thing. It sure is. Yes, it is. And it's a different experience, I'm assuming, when you know that it wasn't grown on poop. Just saying. Anyway, in therapy, everything from depression to even addiction is being studied under this. So it's amazing. Yes, you hope it becomes more in the mental health field. In the way ketamine has. So, wise woman, if you live somewhere or if you know ketamine as a treatment for mental health, then you're further along than some people are. So, in some areas, not everybody's there yet. Oh, in loving memory of Dominic and Davion. You are so freaking cute, Cindy. Hold on, I want to highlight this. Thank you, Cindy. Showing love in memory of Dominic and Davion. Yes, thank you for saying that. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you. Let me heart this and like this and all the things. Thank you so much. That was so very kind of you, Cindy. Thank you. But back to the mushroom thing that we were just saying. So Dom was, in fact, texting his dad. There was a few people. Do we remember? I think his mom, Blair. And if I can remember correctly, it was around 4 a.m. So that would be interesting. So Harlot asked, did Mackenzie find out Dom was missing that night before they left, or did she find out while she was in jail or prison? Oh, thank you so much, Joanne. You're so, so generous. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that's a good question, Harlot, and let me tell you why. I don't know, but I would have assumed that she knew then, but I don't think she did, because on the phone with her mom, she is not happy at all. She is like, did you hear him? He said that Dom wasn't there at 4 o'clock. Where was Dom? I wonder where Dom was. Where was... And she was like heated about it. So I'm assuming that had she known that night that he wasn't there at that moment, not that he wasn't there, but that he wasn't within Paul's view, if you will, I think we would have known more about that. So I can't say for sure, but if I had to make a guess, I would say that now that I'm thinking about it, the fight probably wasn't over that. So, but that was good. Thank you for saying that, Harlot, because now you have me thinking the opposite way. Because at first I'm thinking that might have been good, right? Because what if they were arguing about that? Or what, I mean, it could have been anything, you guys. I feel like she was always questioning him. So I feel like whether it was where were you at 4 a.m. or where were you 3 minutes ago or what are you doing, who you on the phone, I feel like it would have been something anyway. Like, yeah. Now, this is what I do want to find out. Does anybody know if her attorney brought up that her and Dom showed up at the party, allegedly? Did anybody ever find out if this was like a real thing? Because I swear it is. Her and Dom show up at the party with Davion, but then they leave to go home to go get, I wonder if, wait, let's see. I think I have Landon's interview. Bubba. So let me tell you, in case you're just joining this or you're like, who the hell are these people? We know who Mackenzie, Davion, and Dom are, right? Bubba and Rosie are Mackenzie's friends. Now, this is interesting. I'm going to do an entirely separate live on this because the more I think about it, the more I'm seeing predictable behavior here, you guys. Let me tell you what I mean. Mackenzie, and I'm just going to give you a little, not like a tease, I don't know what else, a preview, I guess is a better word, on the next live I really want to do. So, Rosie, I feel Mackenzie treats differently than her other friends, right? So I'm like, why does she treat Rosie different? In my opinion, right? Just my opinion. Why does she treat Rosie different? I can't find any text messages or anything. And I have Snapchats. I have all the social medias. And I can't find anything. We have like a couple hundred text messages between her and Rosie. And Rosie, even the one day Mackenzie gets ready for her photo shoot and Rosie like cancels last minute and Mackenzie doesn't get mad. So for me, we see evidence of something different where Mackenzie gets real mad at things, even with like pants that she borrowed from or somebody borrowed. I mean, she gets mad. She tells people to off themselves. I mean, she does all kinds of things, you guys. And I never see her with that level of animosity towards Rosie. So let me just say hi real quick to Mother Oats and Michelle, because I don't want to miss you guys. And Angry Killjoy. Angry Killjoy, I responded to one of your comments the other day. Her attorney did nothing. I agree. Angry Killjoy, I have a really good memory. Joanne, thank you so much, Queen. Thank you. Downbound's here. Hey, you guys, you're all here. I can't take it. Thank you. Angry Killjoy, tell me if I'm right, because I have a really good memory, but I'm not positive, so tell me. Oh, thank you so much, Ivy. That was so very, very generous of you. In your comment, was that about asking me, did I, you were watching, tell me if I'm right, you must have been watching the replay, and as you were watching, I was doing commentary, and I believe I said something about downbound, generous. Thank you so much. I said, I guess whatever I was saying, you then questioned me and asked me if I'm asking everybody else to look at this with open eyes about other things, am I able to take a step back and look at this as if Mackenzie, maybe isn't a murderer type thing? I'm definitely paraphrasing, because if I try to get the whole thing right, we'll be here forever. Wow, Downbound, that was so very generous of you. You gave me a flow state. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's like a really big one. Thank you. And now that you're here tonight, that tells me that you read my comment back where I was able, like, we went, it was cool. It was like a cool thing. And I said, absolutely, I don't see, and whatever. So I'm hoping that you being here tonight, if I have this correct, that just shows, that's amazing. That just made my night, actually. So let me know if I remembered that correctly. Legally, I'm not sure the difference, but what I try, oh. Of what, Mother Oats? I didn't want to repeat that out loud just in case. Yes, look at it with the presumption of innocence. Angry The Angry Killjoy, hopefully you'll see that as someone who doesn't take the people that come here for granted. I can have, and again, I hope people, if you're not subscribed, please do so. Like, come on, please, that's all I ask for. But, you know, I want that community, and I want people to know that I know who you are and that I remember. So thank you so much for giving us a chance and for being here, and I'm hoping that means that you subscribed. Thank you. That makes me so happy.
Thank you.
Oh, no, you didn't. Michelle became a member. Welcome to the Minds Behind True Crime with Dr. Vona, where we put the fun in dysfunctional. That's right. Thank you. You have no idea how much this means to me. Thank you so much. I love that people support me. And I'm not just talking about financially. Liking, hyping. Oh my God, you guys, how can I go tonight without telling you what Harlot hit me with yesterday? So Harlot was like, oh my God, don't go anywhere, because I'll like jump on and off Discord, like in between stuff. And Harlot's like, wait 1 second, I have to show you something. Oh, Harlot sent a heart. I love you, Harlot. And Harlot said, did you see, thank you, Harlot. Harlot said, did you see your hyped video? And I said, what? You guys, last night before I went to bed, I checked and it was hyped over 100,000 points. 100,000. I took a screenshot of it because I was like, what is happening? So thank you for showing me that, Harlot. I followed it for the rest of the night and made my day. And thank you guys for hyping my video. And just because you did that, it brought my video in front of people that may not have known who we were before that. So just know that you can support my channel without, you know, financially. If you don't have it, we still want you, right? Like, I still want you here. But by hyping my video, you guys, I was like, what's happening? I literally had tears in my eyes. I felt like a proud mom. Thank you all for hyping my video. That was amazing. Oh, now you know how to, oh, what's this? Alert. Oh my God, Joanne. And who's this? What's that happening? What just happened? Who was that? Oh my God, Wing Matchbox. That was pretty cool. I never had that one before. Uncle Alert, love it. That is amazing. Thank you. Mushrooms and stuff are legal in some states in the United States, as a mother. It's in Mexico. There's a lot more stuff legal that also are based on DMT-like pathways. DMT is another one, right? This is what I will say to you when it comes to those things. Go do your thing. Do all your know. Thanks for welcoming everyone. I've been green for a while, but they were always gifted memberships. That makes my heart happy too, because that just means that other people are willing to do that as well. Serious. Thank you. You guys, thank you for my jewels. You guys are so nice to me. Thank you so much. Let's see. New Jersey they are? Wait, what's legal in New Jersey? Mushrooms? Where? I'm in New Jersey all the time. I live Philly, New Jersey. I go back and forth between states. From here to the shore to work. I've been here too, but I've had a membership. It's from a gifted one. That's, again, you guys. Seriously, liking and subscribing and hyping the video and sharing it, like all of that is so important as well. So people are coming to move to New Jersey. Wait, you guys. So this is the thing. I'm gonna have to go live one day on the boardwalk to show you, or like take a video of it. So at the Jersey Shore, on the boardwalk even, like literally where families are, there is, my husband and I took notice. We were like, we'll go on tram car dates. It's so corny. I don't know if you guys know what the tram car is. But, oh, Joanne, thank you. Oh, Oh, I got a pepper. Thank you. You're so generous. Thank you. The tram card takes you up and down the boardwalk. So my husband and I will jump on the tram car and we'll take it up and down or whatever. And like, we just like piss ourselves laughing. Like we do. I think I've actually did a live from the tram car before. Oh, truth has been 13 months. Please don't say that. Nothing bad. God, we don't need anything bad here. No bad juju over here. Wow, 13 months. You guys. That's so long. Patty is on X. Oh, I love that. You guys, I don't know if you guys know this. Patty, how are you? I'm seeing you here on X. Oh, I love that. What was I just going to... Oh, the tram car. So down in the Jersey Shore, they say watch the tram car. Travis is here. What's up, Travis? And we just go around and we're watching all the things. And there is 2 weed stores on every block. So when you walk in them, they'll say that there's like mushroom infused things and all, but I just never really believed it. I'm going to need to look into that a little bit differently this week when I get in. Harlot said, what's bad juju? I don't even know. It's just like, I don't know. It's, you never heard that term? Isn't that just mean like bad luck? Oh. Mother Oats, did you try it? Did you try that therapy? Wait, you're only 40 minutes away from Jersey, Birdie? Oh, why aren't we meeting up? That's closer than me. Well, from the shore. I'll get a membership when I'm able to. Oh, Cindy. Don't even. You know what, you guys? Stay it here tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gift 5 memberships before we end tonight. Oh, I look pretty. Thank you. Tomorrow morning, I'm going with Ava to college. So, oh, you're in North Jersey, Birdie. Oh, Birdie, you're closer to me than you think. Philly's before the shore. Oh, bad energy. See, I was right. North Jersey. Nice. How far are you from Philly? Like if you took the 95. I wouldn't believe, but I tried to get you to go to a place in Jamaica. Travis, I was at a wedding with like 100 people and I didn't know how to leave those mother effers. But this is my Jamaica gear. Me and my husband were talking about today. I'm like, I miss Jamaica. So does he. So trust me, we're talking about going back eventually. I don't know when, but I'm going to that mushroom tea. Oh wow, Mother Eats has tried all the things. Did it work? Did it work for you, Mother Eats? That would be great if it did. You're 20 minutes from Philly, Angry Killjoy? Where are you at? We should have like an East Coast meetup someday. I could hear the people right now that know my first experience with my first meetup experience are right now screaming, shut up, don't say that. Ugh. Oh, thanks, Cindy. That's all I asked for. Seriously, I'm being dead ass serious. Miss Brown's in. Oh, I wasn't there anyway, so maybe next time I'll have to go to that specific area of Jamaica. No. Uh-oh, Cuffy. What did I say? Morrisville. Are you in Montgomery County? Oh, I think, no, I didn't know that. There's somebody else in here that's in Montgomery County, too. If you're in Montgomery County, we're all going to have to meet up someday, you guys. Okay, so back to my live thing real quick. I just went way off. But I love talking to you guys, but I also don't want people that are watching for the first time to be like, shut the frig up. See, I already got a message laughing about my meetup comment. You guys have no idea. You have no idea. My wife's hospitals offer ketamine IV. Oh, you're by Bucks. I taught at Bucks County Community College last semester. Oh, you have a Montgomery County? Oh, nice, in Tennessee. Oh, wow. You guys are amazing. All right, let me keep going, and then I'll go back and look at chat. The next part I wanted to talk about real quick. So, all right, so we talked about Paul. So Paul testified that he had known Mackenzie since middle school. He did not describe her as a close friend. That relational distance is important. He's not presenting himself as a confidant with special access to her inner world. He's describing what happened in a familiar social setting. The group at Brushwood Lane, which is Paul's house, included Mackenzie, Dom, Davion, and others. Paul described the atmosphere as quite chill and testified that he did not observe arguing over the period that he saw. Again, we hold the evidence as this. So a calm observed scene from what he describes, right? It doesn't erase relationship history though, because it doesn't prove that if there wasn't fighting there, that there wasn't fighting when they left, right? It just says that from what I've seen in my presence, I don't recall them fighting that night. A responsible theory here must be able to accommodate ordinary looking moments before extraordinary harm. So human behavior is not a movie in which the soundtrack warns us 3 scenes ahead, right? So I always think of like the dun 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 dun. That doesn't happen in real life. People can socialize, watch TV, use phones, become tired, consume substances, disagree privately, or change their behavior after leaving. The court needed to have a chronology though, in this moment. So we needed to know, okay, then we went to Paul. So now that's documented. Paul also offered timing estimates. Whenever you hear the estimates, such as around 11, 3, 4, midnight, whatever, this is just an estimate, right? So later on, you'll see that phone location and vehicle records can either support the general sequence or reveal where human time perception was not precise. So that comparison is one of tonight's central lessons. So there you go. The next part that I want to show you guys, a witness who says, I did not see an argument, remember this real quick, is not the same as a witness saying, I know no argument happened. 2 different things. The first is bound and usual. So saying I didn't see anything, that's normal, right? That's usual. The second part, saying I know there was no argument, that would exceed a witness's access. You're not there with them when they leave. You're not there with them at all moments. So like, I know of people that'll look normal in front of you and they'll be arguing via text message. Do you know what I mean? So like, you just don't know. You really just don't know. The other important thing here for me is when they leave. So once the group leaves this social setting, the evidence changes. It just does. So we lose the continuous human observation because the only one that lives in this is Mackenzie that gets in the car. So the next witness was out of state, but her phone contained connections to Davion and to a location sharing circle. I would say he did not see the drive with his own eyes. What they authenticated would be through like Life 360 and other data. All right, so the next part is the digital witness here. So the next testimony is where many of us will feel that the case becomes more concrete. So a friend of Davion testified about a Life 360 circle and Snapchat communications. They described that Life 360, who was in the circle, and what the screenshot displayed after they learned about the crash. This is crucial evidence. This is a crucial evidentiary literacy moment. The witness was not testifying that they were personally there or that they seen the speed or anything like that. They're just explaining what they're at, which, tells them if they need to be cautious of something. It'll tell you if one of the people in there stepped on the brake too hard and, their phone fell. it gives you all kinds of notifications. So they're going to show screenshots which are displayed to further authenticate this. So this is evidence, and we need to see it as that. So the defense, what did I write here? I wrote the display that they show, like the evidence, the screenshot, included location points, route information, driving events, and reported top speeds. The prosecution could use that evidence as part of the sequence. The defense could probe the witness, their technical expertise, the app's operation, time zone issues, screenshot handling, and what or was not preserved. The testimony includes the Snapchat relationship with Davion and preserved communications. Those communications are important because they restore Davion as a person living in a normal night, messaging a friend rather than reducing him to a name in the case. So the digital record is not only forensic, it's biographical. It shows a young person communicating in the hours before his life ends. When you watch true crime coverage, ask 3 authentication questions. First, who created or captured this item? Second, how does that person know what it is? And third, what does the item establish without an extra layer of assumption? If the screenshot displays a route and speed, it may support movement and a displayed value. It does not automatically establish who held a phone, who looked at it, why a driver acted, or whether every displayed metric has the same forensic precision as the EDR. So this next thing I'm going to show you is the Life 360 exhibits and Snapchat screenshots. And we are going to look at the transcript, page 214. Okay. All right, one sec. Let me just get to that. Life 360 is on page 19 to 27. All right, so we're going to go to page 19. All right. Okay, so, oh, that's funny. They were just talking about the drone there. So they're showing the drone here, which we actually watched last time. Let's see. This is just about the camera. That's not what we're doing. I want to look at the Life 360, so let me go to that. All right. I'm just doing it this way. Okay, so this is going to be from, I'm trying to see who it is that's testifying. I don't know, like, oh yes, I could figure it out. Hold on. It says it right here, you guys. Excuse me. So this next person is a classmate, but it's not saying their name. Good afternoon. Oh, they redacted her name. Okay. They're 19 years old. Oh, isn't this still? How do you know Dominic? Through like mutual friend groups for the most part. And they asked, how do you know MACKENZIE? She's a classmate of mine in high school. Would you consider yourself friends with MACKENZIE? Not necessarily. I have to say, we're just classmates. Do you know an individual by the name of Dominic Russo? Yes. How do you know Dominic? Through like mutual friend groups for the most part. Do you consider yourself friends with Dominic? Not necessarily friends, but just like I knew him. Are you familiar with an individual by the name of Davion Flanagan? Yes. And how are you familiar with Mr. Flanagan? Oh, me and Davion, we're pretty good friends throughout high school and after. I'm going to take you back to the time frame of July 31st to July 31st, and then they go back and say July 30th and July 31st, 2022. Do you recall those dates? Yes. Why do you specifically remember those 2 dates? Those were the dates of like the incident, like the crash. Yeah. Were you on July 30th? Were you there on July 30th and July 31st? I was in Colorado at the time on vacation. Who was on vacation? Me and a group of my friends. You said that you have been friends with Davion for a period of time, is that correct? Yes. Were you connected to Davion in any way through any forms of social media? Yeah, we were in the circle called Life 360 in Snapchat. Can you explain for the court what Life 360 is? Life 360 is like a family-oriented, like social networking app. It mostly used by families to keep like track of where everyone is. Yeah. How many people in your friend group were you friends with on Life 360? In that group, specifically with Davion, there's probably between 8 to 12 people in that circle. Can you just explain to us in the app how the app tracks for an individual? It basically tracks your location through your phone. It will just show like where you are, like where you've been throughout that day. Yeah, just like your location. Do you have the ability to go back and look at an individual's past actions on Life 360? Yes. Do you recall if you were friends with Davion on Life 360 between July 30th and July 31st of 2022? Yes. You said that you were also friends with Davion on Snapchat, is that correct? Yes. Can you just briefly explain for the court what a friendship on Snapchat looks like? Friendships on Snapchat would just be like an account was like friends with Davion's account. So I would send him like pictures, chats, things like that sort. Tyler, so it's Tyler, you guys. This is Tyler. I guess Tyler, I don't know which Tyler. Tyler, you had mentioned those 2 days, July 30th and July 31st, were significant to you because you were in Colorado, but you also recall one of those days as being a day of the crash. Do you remember saying that? Yes. Okay. When did you first learn about Davion being involved in the fatal car crash? I woke up on the morning of July 31st. It was the date we were supposed to leave. And I heard from one of my friends that something bad happened to Davion from a text message. And then at that moment, I looked at Life 360 and his phone was at the police station. And after you went in and checked the Life 360 app, what did you do next? After I checked the app, I looked over like his past actions and where he had been like the night before. And I just took a screenshot of where he was and what happened. Okay, and what not. On the evening or early morning, of July 31st, were you able to communicate with Davion in any way? Yes. How were you communicating with Davion on the early hours of July 31st, 2022? I texted him over Snapchat that morning. Okay, do you recall what you had texted him? I texted him like something along the lines of like a picture, and we had a text message going from the night before, and I just responded to his and sent a picture of my vacation basically. Okay, after you had learned about Davion being in the car crash, did you do anything with those Snapchats? I screenshotted like our last conversation we have. That was the morning of July 31st. Okay. Did you have an opportunity to speak with the Strongville Police Department in regards to that information that you had? Yes. Okay. And did you provide the Strongville Police Department with any information regarding Davion? Yes. I wrote a statement and I showed them all the Life 360 stuff and our Snapchat text messages. First, let me ask you this. If I showed you a copy of that statement that you provided to the Strongville Police Department, would you be able to recognize it? Yes. Miss Kupak, may I approach Your Honor? The court? Yes. Question. I'm showing you what is marked as State's Exhibit 18. First of all, what is State's Exhibit 18? Answer. This is my statement to the Strongville Police Department. Is what is depicted on the Mondo board the same thing that you have in your hand? Yes. Without reading the entire statement, how do you recognize this to be your statement that you provided to the Strongville Police Department? The handwriting's mine. Do you recall the date that you wrote the statement? August 2nd, 2022. Thank you. And then they're just showing just to see. Hold on, let me just make sure I got everything I needed there. Okay. So this next part says, can you describe they show the next exhibit 19. At the very top of the picture, the address is the house that they were at all night, and below that is the route that they took to get to that house before it. The very bottom one is where they left before that. Question. So I'm going to direct your attention to the top where it says near 9392 Brushwood Lane, 11:39 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. Do you see that? Yes. Would that have been according to your familiarity with Life 360? Is that the destination that they were going to, or where they started? That would have been where they were going to. Okay, below the Brushwood Lane writing, there is a section here where it says 4-mile drive, 11:30 to 11:39, 8 minutes. Is that correct? Can you explain for the court what that means? That means it started tracking their location right around the center of Strongsville, where that white dot is, and the black part is where they ended up, which would be Brushwood Lane. Let me just see if I have those pictures real quick. I think I do. Let me see. I think I do. Okay, so this would be under. Let's look under Davion. I know you guys can't see it, but it's because I'm clicking here and there and everywhere. So I'm going to pull it up and then I'll share it with you guys. Okay, I got it already. That was quick. Davion's Life 360. All right, let me pull this up so you guys could see it. Okay, so then keep the see what it is that they are talking about. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is it. I'm gonna pull it in a little bit closer. This is just from 5:30 to 5:36. So this is their final destination, you guys. Look out, that's it. So they went from here to there. That's it. Okay, so let me make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. You can. Okay, good. So I'm going to continue reading for a minute why this is up instead of having the words up. And then that way you guys can see what it is that they're saying here. So it says, okay. The trip from Brushwood Lane and a later travel that included a reported top speed of 90 miles per hour. Do not merge that automatically with the EDR. Life 360 and the vehicle recorder are separate evidence systems. Oh, that have different limitations. Okay, that's not what I meant to say. Let me go over to the exact testimony is what I actually meant to do. Sorry about that. Okay, so it says, can you explain for the court what that means? And it says that means it started tracking their location right around the center of Strongsville where that white dot is. Okay, so now you guys are seeing what it said, where the white dot is. So you guys follow with the picture, ready? And the black part is where they ended up, which would be Brushwood Lane. And then the question, what triggers the Life 360 app to start to track to somebody's location? Answer. The very bottom location would be where they left from. And the reason it didn't start tracking them right away from there is because the app takes a few minutes to make sure that you're on the move in the car, which is why it started tracking it. Is there anything else that is depicted on the screen that is significant to you? Not necessarily. Okay, does it show the speed? Yes. Okay, what was the speed they were going during this 4-mile drive? 42 miles an hour. The court, can I ask a question? What does the one event mean? The witness, there's a bunch of different events like using your phone, hard braking, high speed when Davion was using his phone. Question, next is State Exhibit 20. What is depicted in State Exhibit 20? That would just be Brushwood Lane, like the house right there. That was the location that they were at from 11 to 5:30. Okay, were you able to access the satellite view of the map of Life 360? Next, what are we looking at? We're going to look at State's Exhibit 21. Could you describe for us what this is? State's Exhibit 21 shows the route that they took from Brushwood Lane to where they'd crash. And the very top part just says that they left at 6:05 a.m. and went to the police station at 9:45. That's interesting. Hold on one second, you guys. Ava, I'm going to draw your attention to this, indicating you said that the bottom location is where they started from. Is that correct? Yes. And could you read for the record what times and duration is at the Brushwood Lane? And I'll switch over to this because it's like off of that part real quick. So I'll show you this instead. Area. Let me make it bigger too. That you guys should be able to see it with that. Okay, and it says, could you read for the record what the times and duration is at the Brushwood Lane address? It says that they were at Brushwood Lane from 11:39 until 5:30 a.m. and then they drove from 5:30 a.m. until 5:36 a.m. and that's where they crashed. What is the ending location? The ending location was 6:05 a.m. to 9:43 is when they were at the police station, and they must have stopped tracking at 9:43 a.m. Is there a mile per hour listed on the screen? Yes. How fast was the Life 360 app tracking them? Going 90 miles per hour. Based on your experience of Life 360, when does the app start tracking the speed that an individual is going? It'll start tracking the speed once it gets your location. It'll start tracking the speed as soon as it realizes that you're moving in a car. It must have started tracking her speed from the white dot. Are you aware of how many times that speed retracts? Yes. In those 5 events, it will show like when they hit that top speed. Okay, how many events are listed there? 5, but it doesn't list what the events are. Is that correct? No, not in this one. Next is States Exhibit 22. What is depicted at States Exhibit 22? This is just a close-up guide of them going from when they first got tracked until they reached Brushwood Lane. That blue dot would be what that one event is, and that's just his phone. Okay, now, how do you know where is, so I'm going to direct your attention to the bottom of the screen. What is the top speed driving from Whitney Road to Pearl Road? 42 miles an hour. How many phone usages? Just one. Is there anything listed for high speed, hard braking, or rapid acceleration? No. How many minutes did it take for them to drive from Whitney Road to Pearl Road? 4 minutes. States Exhibit 23. If you could first, what is the location that they were starting and what is the location that they're ending? It says that the location they started was 91 Pearl Road. Do you know where that's at? I'm pretty sure it's at the right of the other side of the building. Oh, I'm pretty sure it is right on the corner, right on the other corner side of the building that they ended up crashing into. If you can, describe how many miles they were driving and for how many minutes. Well, they drove from Brushwood Lane to the crash site. It said it was about 3 minutes. Oh, you guys, it was only 3 minutes? And then Mr. McDonald says, objection, it doesn't say that. The witness, miles. If you can you explain to us from 5:30 to 5:36 a.m. where it says 6 minutes, where is the timestamp that they drove that time, that 6 minutes? And then the court says, you're asking timestamps that they drove, but you're telling him 6 minutes. Are you asking the route they drove? And then Miss Kupak, yes, thank you. Answer, for 6 minutes, they drove 3 miles from Brushwood to the crash site. Can you say that again? It says that it took 6 minutes for them to drive those 3 miles. Where is the start location and the end location? It says that they started at and ended at Elizabeth Circle. I'm going to direct your attention to the bottom portion of the slide. If you could read across the board, top speed, phone usage, high speed, hard braking, and rapid acceleration, the top speed was 90 miles per hour. There are 3 instances of phone usage. Oh, so there was 3 instances of phone usage on Davion's phone. 1 high speed, 1 hard braking, and 0 rapid acceleration. Oh, so I'm sorry, when it says 3 instances of phone usage, it means that it tracked 3 events. The one event was a high speed, another one was a hard braking, you guys, and a 0 rapid acceleration. What is depicted in States Exhibit 24? This would be the driving on progress. That is when Davion used his phone at 5:35 a.m. Again, the driving events. It says 90 miles per hour of top speed, 3 phone usages. Oh, there was 3 phone usages. 1 high speed and 1 hard braking. This picture is when they like crashed into the building. It shows that they were hard braking on the building. And it says that it's when they reached their high speed was at the building. What time is listed for the hard braking? The hard braking says it was at 5:35 a.m. Again, what was the top speed? 90 miles per hour. What is State's Exhibit 26? This is just like an up-close picture of the building where they crashed. It shows that the hard braking was right on the center of the building and way past the street. What? Question, how do you know that? How can you tell? You can tell. At the intersection where it says Alameda, that is the end of the street, and the hard braking is right on top of the building. How can you tell there's a hard braking there? The red dot. Oh, you guys, I'm going back to that because I think that's a picture we were looking at. I'm going to show that picture again. Oh. Wow. Okay. Thank you. You guys. So this is 5:30 a.m. to 5:36 a.m. Look, this is what they were talking about. Look, top speed. I'll go there so you can see it. 90 miles an hour, 3 phone usages, 1 high speed, 1 hard braking, zero rapid acceleration. That's interesting. You guys, that's interesting. 0 rapid acceleration. Now this is the thing, because I'm going to show all the evidence here, not just what we see here. So I showed you yesterday how they had the braking, right? And again, please, everybody in chat, I hope everybody's getting along. Everybody can have different opinions on the topic, and that's okay. I hope we're all adult enough to discuss it. So, okay, so in this 3-mile drive, you guys, this is what he's saying. This is the other thing, you guys. This kind of shows how the road isn't a straight run. Like, look, this is Prospect, and it shows, but you see it kind of right here. It like turns a little bit. Like it almost looks like if you kept going, well, not almost. If you kept going straight, you would go right into that greenery. And then it does it again over here. And then it looks like she crosses the street here. She hits the sign here, I thought. But look, it's showing the braking isn't happening until like the center of the building. Wow. I guess that's from like, if you're doing physics, I guess, from like acceleration and like, she obviously didn't brake here. I know, Thorsty's here. Hey, Higgins, where the hell have you been? You started dating someone and took a random trip? Well, guess what? We know where you are, Higgins, so if you don't show up, we know who to get. No, I'm just joking. God forbid, you guys. We're doing true crime. I don't even know why I would even think that way. That has to be wrong because Life 360 is not reliable. So this is the thing. It's not, I don't know that I would say that it's not reliable. Hi, I love you, Eve. I'll see you in the morning. I don't know that I'd say that it's not reliable because it tells me where everybody I know is going. But it, just like I said in the very beginning, and I don't know where my exact words were, but in the very beginning, I definitely said to everybody to make sure that here it goes. Where is it? It says, I literally wrote something about that. So like, in other words, what I was saying is that notice that these are the Life 360 things and all, like their observations of the app and stuff like that. I wrote something about it here. I can't find it right away, but it's just literally telling us that these are, you know, It's the evidence that's being presented. So that's what we're looking at, the evidence that's being presented at the trial. So let me go back real quick to the transcript and continue reading that particular part, and you guys could look at this while I read that real quick. Okay. How do you know that? How can you tell? You can tell. At the intersection where it says I'll meet it, that is the end of the street. And the hard braking is right on top of the building. And you guys see that right there. Or at least where it shows. And it says, how can you tell it's hard braking? The red dot. Okay. What does that red dot mean? And here, let me make this bigger for you guys real quick, so you can see it better. Oh, I don't know that that really helped much. Here we go. I'm trying to make it bigger for you guys to see, but I didn't want to completely like make it to where, actually we could do it like that. So they're referring right here to these dots at the top right there. Okay. Okay, what does the red dot mean? Red means that it's hard braking. How do you know that? Based off of how the app works. On the bottom of it, if you scroll down, see the hard braking is red. I get it. Okay, you guys, so look over here real quick. So it's telling you that if we look down here, and again, this is the evidence being shown at trial, it shows you that the blue would be 3 phone usages. That's interesting. Did he? So he was on his phone. Oh, that's interesting, you guys. So let's look at that. So we have a blue dot, which is phone usage, the high speed, which looks like it's after the hard brake. So interesting. So wait, let me leave that out like this, and you guys could, that way you could see what each thing represents. How funny is this that I just saw the how much battery's left in the upper corner and just looked down for my charger, not realizing that that wasn't my phone. Oh my god. But it just goes to show how automatic our brains work. Okay, let me keep going. So on the bottom, scroll down, see the hard braking is red. Is that always the same color for Life 360 for hard braking, that red? Yes. High speed would be orange. And top speed? And he says, yeah. I'm sorry, top speed was what? Oh my god, they said it 1,000 times, you guys. Top speed, it won't actually show on the map. It just notes in the bottom line, the top speed that the car hit was 90 miles per hour. States Exhibit 27. What is depicted in States Exhibit 27? That's just the drive from the crash to the police station. You said that you were able to communicate with Dominic on July 31st in the early morning hours on Snapchat? With Davion, not Dominic. Excuse me, with Davion. Yes. If I showed you a copy of those Snapchat messages, would you be able to recognize them? Yes. And then he hands them to him. And it says, these are the pictures of me and Davion's Snapchat conversation. So let me see if I have that. I do. Oh, there's quite a few. So let me see. Let me go. I think their data. They are. Oh, there's group chats, memories, Snap Media. Oh, there's a lot more than I thought. Okay, so let me see which one it might be. I'm just going to click on the very last one. I don't know, that was it. I'll show you guys what it says though. I'm going to share it with you in 1 sec. Okay. First, I just want to see what this is before I just share it. I haven't gone through all of Davion's. Like there, you know how like we've looked through some like MACKENZIE Snapchats and Instagrams. Oh, I have to show this. I can't believe this. Oh my god, you guys, wait till you see this. day of the accident, we know that they went to the zoo. Davion, like I said, I saw Mackenzie's messages, Mackenzie's stuff. I didn't see it from Davion's stuff. We've even seen some of Dominic's stuff, right? But not Davion. So I think that this is interesting that we're about to see something of Davion's. So let me just make sure you guys could see it. I don't know why it's not up on the screen. Oh wait, here it goes. It's coming. Let me take this down on screen. I have too many things up. All right, we see it here. So this off here, actually, this is only 13 seconds. So let me just play this, but I'm going to mute it so you guys can hear better.
Wait. Look at the flower. This one's coming too.
Oh, that was Dom. Let me play that one more time.
Wait. Look at the flower. This one's coming too.
Oh, there was one right before it, so I'll play that too. I don't know what it is, so we're going to blind play this, which I really shouldn't do. So we'll see what happens. Here it comes, for better or for worse. And I need a drink, but just to get a drink because I'm so thirsty. Yeah, let me stop this one. Why isn't it showing yet? Oh, do I have to hit play?
Wait.
I thought we saw this one. File. Oh, I think it was the same thing, you guys. That's why it didn't change. So wait, let me see. There's another one here too from 7:30. I'm gonna click on that blindly too. Again, I'm putting this live in God's hands, so hopefully God has me. Hopefully it's nothing inappropriate. No, I don't. I shouldn't say that. I almost said I don't know if they would show something inappropriate here, but we've seen plenty. It's not really showing anything, so instead I'm going to close that out and I'm going to show you guys one of their snap messages. This is his last Snapchat. It's coming. My computer is so damn slow. Oh my God, I'm petrified. All right, I'm glad that wasn't anything inappropriate. I don't know who this person is, why Davion has him on the phone, but that was Davion's last thing. Let me see over here because I have more stuff. Oh, there's more up here. You guys, do I click on it? I'm so afraid. I guess I'm just going to do it. Let's see what it is. Here it comes, for better or for worse. Oh, look, it took it off. Oh my God, I feel like that's Davion. Like, bitch, don't show my shit. I probably should view it first anyway. All right, I see that you guys don't see it. Hold on one sec. I'm going to end my screen share and reshare. I think I shared too many things at once. It was like, girl, relax. All right, let's see if we could see one of these videos just to break it up a little bit too. Let's look at Oh, I'm afraid. Who knows what this is?
Yeah. Slim thick with her ass.
So really good. Damn, do it nice. Damn. When talking shit is Fisher Price.
Yeah, my price is nice. You can't get lit like me and nigga in a party. Splitting that bitch in the bitch on the party. Bacardi, I got it. A Rover Rush happened. I wasn't bitch like partying or happened. Cracking the bottle like bougie, I get it. I got this shit and I'm spinning 3 on a digit. Yeah, like what's happening. The bitty, she get it back running and I'm clapping.
Damn. I be trying to see some lean. Damn. I want a bitch that is mean. Damn. She'll serve me. Ooh.
A drink because a random moth jumped in my drink. Moth that was still flopping. That was the weirdest thing. Anyway, next thing we're going to look at real quick before I jump back over. Yeah, let's look at this one. Oh, it's making me shut the one out before I show you the other. That's why. All right, we're going to click on a random one. And then we're going to jump back. Let me make sure you guys could see it. Hold on. See, no. I have to like reshare it. That's annoying. All right, this is the last one. Then we'll go over to the... We'll go back to the transcript. I really gotta stop moving around. Okay, let's share it. Let's do it. F it. All right, so this is one of his last Snapchats, I want to say. I don't know if this is a Snapchat, yes. Oh, it's him rapping again. All right, well, we already watched that, so I'll shut that off. All right, my little break's over. Hold on. So,
I got boys and I'm on the show. Cooking around up in there. Thinking I hit it. Thinking of the way to the way.
oh, okay. Okay. What? Okay. That was that. That was him rapping. So we're going to close that out. And then I'm going to show you guys. Let me share something else. I'm going to go back to the transcript and show you what I was going to do. Hi guys. How you doing? I'm showing boobage again. What is wrong with me? Whoops. We almost just had a catastrophe, you guys. I need a computer so bad. Maybe there's like a rich Prince Charming on here that has an old computer that they just want to donate. You never know. You have to put it out into the universe. You just never know who's listening. If somebody's listening and you're like some, I don't know, amazing person with an extra computer that you want to donate to us, just let us know. And I'm not begging for money. That's not what I'm doing. I'm literally putting it out in the universe. You never know who might be watching. Who knows? There could be a computer person that's watching that it just has extra. Yeah, just never know. So I'm going to throw it out there into the universe. Okay. Back to this real quick. It says, let me make sure you guys can see it. You can. Oh, I'll keep it like this. How's that? That way you could see it and it's like bigger. I can make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Let me see if that's too big. It probably is, but we'll see. Okay, so how do you know this, Davion? He says. This is me and Davion's conversation, he says. That was like right before he crashed. How do you know this is Davion? The name? It was his account that I was messaging. Okay, and if you could just start with your conversation and walk us through what you two were conversing. We had been talking like that the day before because I was on vacation and whatnot. He told me that he was Mr. McDonald, objection. The court, sustained. He told me the court, sustained. Question, without saying what Davion had said to you, could you just walk us through what your communication is on the screen? Answer, we were just texting back and forth as friends. There's 2 different colors on the screenshot. Do you see that? Uh-huh. The individual in blue, who is that? The blue would be Davion. And the individual in red, who's that? That's me. Can you read for the court what you messaged to Davion? I said, chillin' in the mountains. You free? You fee me, bruh. Hold on. This shit is so fucking hard. And I sent him a picture. Without saying what he said, did he respond? Yes. I'm going to direct your attention to when you sent that message. Can you see what time it is on the screen? Yeah, it says for your message that you sent. It says 2:12 a.m. Could you explain for the court the timing of the message and how it was significant to you? The timing, it says 2:12 because it's off way earlier since I was in Colorado. And Cleveland time, it would have been 4:12. Okay, Tyler, were you able to provide another screenshot to the police department? Yes. What is this State's Exhibit 29 that I have up here? What is that screenshot of? This is the same conversation, just from a later date. Can you first explain for us why you have 2 separate screenshots? The only reason there's 2 separate screenshots was because at the time when I was going to the police to show it, the first message that he sent, I was scared of me getting in trouble because he said that he was tripping. Can you explain for us why there are 2 different in State's Exhibit 28, the top of the photograph that you identified said Dave? Birdie! What? Birdie, yes.
Thank you.
Where is it? I want to highlight it. I want to highlight you. Why didn't it do some crazy thing? Birdie?
Thank you.
It's going to thank us that way, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, you guys, Birdie just sent 5 Mind Behind True Crime memberships, and let's all thank her so very much. That was so generous. I can't even tell you. And let's see who got the memberships. Cindy. See, Cindy? The universe works in crazy ways.
Thank you.
You put it out there
Thank you.
that you would love to have a membership, and you were just gifted one. So please thank Birdie profusely. Also, who else received it? We have Jen Fred. Welcome, Jen Fred. We have Nolo. Welcome, Nolo. We have Tarakan. Oh, who? Okay, let me try this again. Oh, God. Gianna says go backwards, remember? But I don't know where it starts. Okay, so let's just say tier. We're going to say, I don't know. I'm so sorry. We also have Liz Stapleton. Welcome, Miss Liz. And I feel like there's one other one. Wait, 1, 2, there should be 5. Oh, there is 5. Yeah, I don't know where to go with that one, cough. We're just going to say tier. So we have Cindy, Jen, Nolo, Tier, and Liz. There you go. There's no backwards for that one. I'm going to have to tell Gianna what's your I don't know, advice for that. Thank you. Oh, wow. That was so freaking nice. Thank you so much. YouTube Bad Actors said, I would like a membership universe. See, there you go. You never know. YouTube Bad Actors. Let's see what happens. Thank you so much, Birdie. That was so generous. I can't even tell you. Okay, you guys. So then this one says, can you explain for us why there's 2 different at the top of the photograph that you identified? Says Dave. Do you recall that? Yes. In State's Exhibit 29, it says Davion Flanagan. Do you see that? Yes. Why is the name different between both of these screenshots? Because I just changed it after I heard the news of the crash. It was sentimental purpose. State's Exhibit 29, the message. If you can see on there, it starts at 4:12 a.m. Can you see that on yours? Yes. Can you explain for us why the first one says 2:12 and the second screenshot that you gave us says 4:12? I was just on vacation, so the time zone didn't match up. It was the 2-hour difference from Colorado time. Between these 2 screenshots that you provided the police, did you manipulate them in any way? Not in any way, in any bad way. After 24 hours on Snapchat, it will automatically delete themselves, which is why some things were not in there. Did you delete anything from either of these conversations? No. Did you manipulate the timing on these screenshots? No. In both of these screenshots that you provided to the police department, it is fair and accurate depiction of what your conversations were with Davion at this time. Is that correct? Yes. Ms. Kupak, nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you. Joanne, thank you for my hearts. I love them. Thank you. Thank you so very much. A. Higgins says, I love y'all. We're going to sneak on the balcony and smoke real quick so we can cuddle. Aw, the water park opens at 9 a.m. and these kids are going to have us up at the ass crack of dawn. A. Higgins, you have an amazing time. Go do your thing, and we will see you next time. And thank you for being here with us. Have an amazing time tomorrow. That sounds like an amazing, amazing fun. Have so much fun. So, oh, Andrea's here. Hey, Andrea. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. How you doing? And then the court asked if there's going to be a cross. So here goes the cross-examination by Mr. O'Donnell. Let's see what Mr. O'Donnell was paid, what Big Jim was paid for. My name is Jim O'Donnell. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, okay? Okay. If you don't understand the question, ask me to repeat it or rephrase it. Did you manipulate something and not tell the police the truth? No. Did you delete some words or something? No. I thought I heard you say that. You weren't trying to hide anything. I can clear it up if you want me to. What do you need to clear up? It speaks for itself. The message got erased. That's how Snapchat works. It was not you? No. You're not an expert on Life 360. No, I wouldn't say that I'm an expert. You don't work for them or really know how it goes. No. Right? Not really. Okay, but you're sure about these texts going back and forth? Yes. Yeah. Is it okay if I take all these exhibits from you for a moment? I'm going to hand you Exhibit 26. What is Exhibit 26? This one? That's like the post close-up picture of the building that they ended up crashing into. That building is on Alameda. Is it this building that's down lower? And then they're indicating. Yeah, that's the one. They went down that way. That's the one. That's the end of the street. They were coming down. This is the building they crashed into, indicating again. Uh-huh. Exhibit 24, that shows phone usage of Davion's phone. Yeah. Now, We can assume that it was Davion, but you don't really know who was on the other end, right? What do you mean? Who actually had his phone? I guess not. Are you making a guess? Yeah. And this shows the phone usage started at 53:57, right before the accident. Yeah. Do you know what would have triggered or started the phone usage? I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's when the phone screen comes on. When it came on? The phone screen, it turns on and unlocked. Does it ping and say there's a photo there? Like, you mean like he took a photo? No, you're sending him this photo. You sent it to him earlier. Yeah, it says here at 5:35 that they were using the phone. Yeah. Does that mean it's using the phone as relates to the photograph of the mountains? Oh no, there's like absolutely zero way that that picture is with that. But it would make sense. That's what they were responding to because that was the last text, right? Yeah. We don't know if it was Davion or not who had the phone, I guess. But that was a pretty good picture, right? Yeah. Good night, Cuff. Thank you. Yeah. We don't know if that was Davion or not who had the phone, I guess. But that was a pretty good picture, right? Yeah. What did you say about the picture? You said it's fucking hard or something? Yeah. Meaning this is really awesome and cool. You don't know what happened. Certainly, if you get a photo like that, you might show somebody else who's around, right? Yes. We don't know because you weren't there, but that's a possibility, right? Yeah. Then I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 23. You've seen that before, right? Yes. In fact, it shows that it was a 3-mile drive. Yes. That was an approximation. It could have been 4, or it could have been, it's not precise. It's not saying like 3.24 miles, right? Right. It says it took 6 minutes. It shows the phone was used 3 separate times. What does that mean? It just means he was... Wait, you're asking me? I'm asking you now. It means he probably was on his phone. The court. You can't guess. If you don't know, if you don't personally know, you can't guess. Answer, I don't know. Question, you don't know? I have no idea. What you can tell is that these 3 separate times on the phone was being used. Yes. We can tell as you look at this, you see the route from Pearl Road to where the crash was. And certainly the last time the phone was used was close to the scene of the accident, right? Yes. The time before it was used sometime on Pearl. Yes. Pretty close to the intersection of Pearl and Progress. Yes. One person could have had it, passed it to another person to look at a second, third, right? Yes. Miss Kupak, objection. The court sustained. Now I'm going to show you exhibits 28 and 29. On exhibit 28, there's a message at 2:05 from whom? Davion? And what does it say? Objection. The court sustained. It says, the court, you can't answer. If it says sustained, don't answer. If I say overruled, then you can. Question. I'm going to hand you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 29. Do you see that? Yes. Can you identify that? This is 28. Oh, I'm sorry, 28, yes. You can identify that? Yes. And how is that produced? By screenshot? Okay, who produced it? Me? What did you produce it off? Of our chat? When you say our chat, whose chat? Me and Davion? On what day? July 31st, I believe. Of what year? 2022? Yes. Does State's Exhibit 28 fairly and accurately depict the screenshot that you took? Yes. Of the conversation between you and Davion's phone on July 31st of 2022, right? Yes. So they're fair and accurate? Mr. O'Donnell, Your Honor, I would like to have move State's Exhibit 28 introduced as evidence. No objection. Okay, no further questions. Nothing based off that. You're all done. Thank you. The witness is excused. And next was Kelly, the girl that they went to the first place. Wow. All right, let me jump back to my notes real quick. Didn't see any turns on the map it showed. It looked like a straight, but she made a right turn. Okay, so on that picture that I showed you, here, let me see if I can pull it up again real quick. Here it goes. Davion's Life 360. There's 3 attachments too. I wonder what they are. Oh, here goes one. Here is, yeah, this is the one. All right, I could show us this. So I'm going to share this picture with you guys. And this is of that final stretch. And I'm going to show you here, Harlot. Okay. So if you look at this, hold on, let me wait till it comes up. Okay, it lied. It said it was coming up. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to show this. And when I show this, here is the Life 360. This is just that somewhere is where they turn. So that's the final stretch. At first, I thought this was from one place to the other, but what I'm realizing here is that those dots mean something else. So this blue dot isn't where they started. I'm glad you asked this. So the blue dot is where it shows that Davion last uses his phone, which they did say was right off of. I wonder if we could see it down here if we look. But you're correct. They do make a right. No, look, you could still see. So it's somewhere down here that they make the right hand final stretch, which is a lot longer than I ever thought it was. It's like a lot longer stretch than I had previously thought. So that's interesting. Okay, real quick. Okay, so here we go. Okay, what I wanted to say here was, so this one, the sequence that we just showed here with the Life 360, the 90 miles per hour, they do not merge that automatically with the EDR. So the EDR is that black box. Life 360 and the vehicle's recorder are separate evidence systems with different methods and limitations. Their evidentiary value becomes stronger when independent systems point to the same general direction, but they are not interchangeable. This is called convergence. Convergence does not mean every source is flawless. And this is good for, who was it? Angry Killjoy? Like you were saying, it didn't actually start the house they left from. It is 0.7 miles and was 59 seconds from turn to crash. Yeah, 0.7 miles is longer than what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought it was. And 59 seconds is a long time. Like, longer than what I had thought is what I should say. Harlot, when she turned right onto Progress, I believe, yes. And then they were on Pearl and turned right at the intersection of Pearl and Progress. That's right. Thank you. Okay, so this convergence here that we're talking about, it means that a friend's time estimate, a location record, surveillance videos, the vehicle data may have each been incomplete on their own. If the overlapping proportions align, the overall inference can become stronger. If they conflict, the conflict must be explained rather than hidden. The defense cross-examination is essential. The app, not the engineer who designed it, okay? So he could explain the screenshots and his experience Technical claims about GPS precision, speed calculations, or data architecture require a different foundation. That's not the reason to discard this evidence here, in my opinion, though, right? But it is a reason to use it for the use it for what it actually is supporting, which, you know, is where they were, that they had the conversation, so on and so forth. So next, real quick, the human memory versus recorded data. Okay, we now have two kinds of time. We have remembered time, so around 7 after midnight, 3 or 4 in the morning, and we have system time, so the timestamps attached to the message, screenshots, locations, video, or vehicle events. These categories should talk to one another, not compete with one another. So human memory is reconstructive. We do not store as a perfect video file and press play. Attention, fatigue, emotion, later information, and the ordinary passage of time influences this retrieval. That does not make a witness a liar. So let me make that straight. It does not make the witness on stand a liar. It makes them human. Okay? A person can be sincere and still estimate a time incorrectly. A person can remember the emotional texture of a gathering more clearly than the minute someone walked out the door. Digital systems solve problems and create others. So that's what we were just looking at. 360 was a digital system. A timestamp can be precise while the meaning of the event is ambiguous. A phone can move without proving who possessed it at every second. A screenshot can preserve a display while omitting the surrounding inference or later the surrounding interference and metadata. And time zones, the time zones we just saw here, can confuse the interpretation. Accounts can be used on multiple devices. The proper approach then would be triangulation. So here in research, when we triangulate the data, we look for more than just one area of overlap. So let's say we have from Tyler's phone, you know, text messages at a certain time, stuff like that. And let's say there's a screenshot, and I'm just making this up. I'm just trying to give an example. So let's say we have a screenshot of Tyler's, but then let's say the cops do a screenshot of Davion's at the same thing. We're going to have different metadata, and it may look different. On the top of Davion's, it might say, you know, Tyler, and on top of Tyler's, it might say Davion. And the colors are going to be different depending on, you know, if you're the sender or the receiver of the message. So there's going to be things that look different. So instead of seeing if things match exactly, you start to look at, okay, well, this was, you know, 2-hour difference because he was in Colorado. So if we do the math and we account for that, that now puts us at the exact same time as the other person who received the message type thing. So I'm just giving an example there, but we triangulate it by then. So not just looking at those two things, but then getting the actual data from the phone carriers and things like that. And that'll triangulate the data. So it just means that it's coming from 3 or more access points. Okay, so in my opinion, this is why the final hour structure is so useful. We do not ask one witness to carry the crime. We do not ask one witness to carry the entire prosecution or defense. We place the party's testimony, so things like the Brushwood observations, the Snapchat exchanges, Life 360 sequence, surveillance, reconstruction, and the black box evidence on the same timeline. Then we identify agreements, gaps, and contradictions. And one warning, memory loss after a traumatic physical event is a clinical question, not a social verdict. A claim of not remembering can be true, false, incomplete, medically influenced, or impossible to resolve from public material alone. The existence of other objective evidence does not let us read a person's mind about recall. We can compare the claim with what the record shows. We should not pretend that comparing gives us a brain scan. So that's the other thing here, right? So we don't want to say that we know things like that for sure. So next we're going to briefly just look at the human estimates and system displays. So let me just show you this real quick on the transcript. This is going to be 214 it says, but I feel like, I'm just going to go to it and see what it does. Oh, I wasn't on that though. Excuse me. Oh, because it doesn't go to that. Hold on. What is it? Hold on, you guys. I have to go to... I wrote... Oh, that's weird. I think I have to go to the next one. That's why. Duh. I got this, you guys. Hang tight. I grab this other one that's right. So we're going to see here that difference that we were just talking about. Hold on, it's opening right now. All right, now we're going to go to page... we are going to go to... Crazy. Oh, here it is. I found it. So we have to go to page 10. I think it says. All right, let's see if it's there. I don't know why. I feel like I have that one thing wrong. But I know how I can find it. Duh. I got it. I just had to be, what do I always say? You have to be, or my husband actually says, you have to be 10% smarter. All right, let's see. I think I got it. Got it. Let me pull it up on stream. Come on, that is annoying. All right, let me try this with you guys. No, not there, here. And here we go. So that one was about the drone. Here we go. We're gonna start it right here. All right, let's see what you guys are saying, just to make sure you're saying the same thing we are. Okay, so this right here is going to be, I'm trying, I think this is with one of, I don't know, I think this is with, you guys. Hold on, I'll figure it out. Anyway, they're asking the witness. I'm just going to say the witness, but I'll figure it out in a minute. It'll just take me a second because I'm having like an ADHD moment. But we're looking for the EDR here. So here we go. All right, here we go. I reviewed the initial crash report. So we're obviously talking to an investigator, because who else would review the initial crash report? So I reviewed the initial crash report written by Patrolman Galassi, the scene diagram that was drawn, the Bosch CDR retrieval, which we just spoke about, the EDR analysis that was previously done by Sergeant Fox from Ohio State Highway Patrol, the scene photos, the vehicle pictures, which I have, you guys, I could show you all that, and the Strongville police report, as well as email correspondence from one of my instructors regarding the analysis. And then we have section 3.0 overview of the EDR. What was included in this section of your report? It was basically describing that an event data recorder, what it is and what it does in relation to a vehicle crash. There's a computer module inside, usually within the airbag control module. Its job is, for lack of a better term, to wake up whenever there's a significant event. It uses the term delta V, which is the change of velocity over time. Whenever it senses a large enough delta V, the margin changes speed over a short period of time and the computer wakes up. And it will record what's going on inside the vehicle. And it will back it up. In this case, it backs up 4.67 seconds prior to the event and captures information to include speed, whether or not the brake was engaged, whether or not the accelerator was depressed. It can record up to whether the seatbelt was engaged as well. Every vehicle is different when it comes to the EDRs. Question: is the EDR in a Toyota different than in other automakers? It is. How is it different? Most vehicles, when they have an EDR, it will wait until the entire crash event completes before it writes data. But a Toyota, it records it in real time. So a Toyota will have it could have an event trigger inside of one crash. That's why there's multiple events within this one reported crash. It could be multiple different types of events, such as a rollover, a frontal crash, a side crash, a rear crash. Anytime that EDR would have woken up, it records that event inside a singular crash incident. Question: conducting EDR analysis on a Toyota, does that make your job more difficult to decipher that information because it's recording multiple events at the same time? I wouldn't say it's more difficult. You have to make sure that you're overlaying each event because they're recording on top of each other. Since it goes back and forth and in half seconds, one event includes information from a prior event. So you have to make sure your events line up at the proper times. Take us through the information that you included in section 5.0. This includes the table that I spoke about previously to show that the recording status was complete. I highlighted it in the table just to show the data was able to be used to make determinations in the crash. I go on to determine it was from a single ignition cycle, and the previous ignition cycle before that was outside of the highest level of measure, which was roughly 32 seconds. So before the data that I used, the last ignition cycle before that was greater than 32 seconds. So I knew it was before the incident. So I ignored all that information. Question: how many events were you able to pinpoint that were recorded on this EDR? From this crash, there were 6 events associated with this crash. Were you able to decipher one of these events that was the initial event that woke up the EDR? I was. What was that information? That information was trigger event number 5. And Toyota, the way they do it, the lower the number, the older the information. So I knew the lowest number that I took into consideration had to be the oldest event. That would be the first event it recorded. The second event would be a higher number because they go in sequence. Did you demonstrate that in your report? Yes. That would be on page. My report is written in the reverse order with the first event recorded listed on page 6. I have page 6 on the screen. Is that what you're looking at on the witness stand? Yes. Tell us about this table on page 6. Excuse me. The first event that woke up the EDR in this case was the computer sensed it was a rollover event, but the car might not have actually rolled over. It just had enough lateral force, meaning side-to-side force, acting on it that the computer thought the car was turning over. The reason for that is from the hard steering event that had highlighted in the report. So you can see that 4.5 seconds prior to this event occurring, there's a small right turn being put in, and then there's a left turn. The negative numbers indicate right turn, the positive numbers indicate left turn for this. And then there's a significant right-hand turn at the point of event, which woke the EDR up. It's a 142.5 degree turn. Question: you're talking about 142 on a 360 degree circle, correct? Correct. Not quite 50%, something less than 50% turn. Yes. Would that, in your opinion, be significant enough input to cause this EDR to wake up? Answer: it would because of how fast the vehicle was going. Anyone who is driving a car knows that the slower you're going, you need to put more steering to get the car to turn. But when you're driving at a high speed, a hard yank from the top to the bottom would cause a significant side-to-side movement of the car. Question. Is it your testimony that the event occurred 4.75 seconds prior to the impact of the Toyota? No, it was less than that. How are you able to tell that? I was able to line up the tables. 4.75 is how far it goes back in total. But there's only about 1.1 seconds of overlap from the hard steering impact leading up to it prior to hitting the wall. That hard steering event happened less than 2 seconds before it impacted the wall? Yes. I want to go back and start on page 3 of your report. Are you following along with me? I am. Okay. Was it contained on page 3 of your report? Page 3 is where I determined which event that was triggered that was the impact with the wall. I was able to determine it was trigger 11. It was the only impact recorded that could have possibly been the impact from the wall. Question. How are you able to determine trigger 11 is the only event recorded that could be the impact? Answer. There were 2 frontal impacts recorded. One was delta V of 2.9, which is a very low amount. It would not record that amount of damage to the vehicle that you see in the picture. The second frontal impact registered all crash sensories, frontal, side, rear, and it had a significant delta V of over 37. But that's the last recorded value before the computer was destroyed in the crash. So that's the last recorded value. I don't know if it would have gone higher. I don't know if it would have gotten anything after that. Question. Once the crash has occurred, is it your testimony this recorder is destroyed? Answer. It's not always. It takes significant event for the computer to be completely destroyed, and it was in this case. Question. Why did you include the photograph of the Camry on page 3? Answer. Because it backs up the fact that you would need to see substantial frontal end damage to register the 37 or higher delta V recording for frontal impact. Question. You testified about the trigger V being a rollover event that woke up the black box? Right. And you testified about trigger 11 being the impact? Yes. Are there other significant events that were recorded? The other significant one that I marked is trig 9, and that is the table itself is not in my report, but it has frontal impact. It had a 2.9 delta V, and it was trying to find out where would be I was trying to figure out why there would be a second frontal impact before it hit the wall. And I went back and reviewed the scene footage to figure out a potential cause of that accident. Or of that incident. Neva, hey Neva, how you doing? Thank you, Neva. I love the happy poop, and I also love the hot pepper, chili pepper. So thank you, Ivy, for that chili pepper. You guys are just so amazing. Thank you so much, and that gets my attention. So I don't know if anybody had any questions, but let's see. Come here, third boy. Hold on. Based on your review of the scene footage, were you able to identify a cause of that? Yes, I was. What was that? If you go to the next page of my report, page 6, that photo shows the vehicle made contact with a curb prior to hitting the wall. At the speed it was recorded when the front tires hit the curb, I believe the front tires were airborne, and that's supported by the table on page 5, which shows prior to impact with the wall that the accelerator was depressed at 100%, but the engine throttle is substantially lower. And that is, I believe, because the front tires were no longer in contact with the road surface. Wait, what? I need to repeat that. I'm trying to picture this. It says at the speed, all right, I'm going to have to put on my voice again, hold on. At the speed it was recorded when the front tires hit the curb, I believe the front tires were airborne, and that is supported by the table on page 5, which shows prior impact with the wall. The accelerator was depressed at 100%, but the engine throttle is substantially lower, and that is, I believe, because the front tires were no longer in contact with the road surface. Question. You are speaking about the second table included on page 5 of your report? Yes. And you have highlighted 3 of the columns in that table. Could you walk us through why you chose to highlight these 3 particular columns? The first column that I highlighted shows the accelerator pedal and what percentage it was depressed. It shows that at 4.6 seconds prior to it hitting the wall, it was depressed at 100%. However, the engine throttle was at 100 to 99% up until 2.1 seconds prior. And I believe that is partially due to the steering and partially due to when it goes down to 23 seconds, 13.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds, I believe, is when the tires go airborne. Question, to be clear, the first box is tilted accelerated pedal. The second is the percentage of the engine throttle. Just a brief description of the difference between the two. Answer, the accelerator pedal is purely the pedal itself, how far it's down to the floor versus how far it's not depressed. The engine throttle is the RPM of the engine and how much force is acting in the throttle. The third column that I highlighted is the service brake. At no point during this event was there any pressure applied to the service brake. Question, this table goes back 4.6 seconds of information, is that correct? Correct. I wanted to ask you about the table at the top of page 5. You highlighted the 6th row down. That table continues. It's a continuation from a previous page, so you will see the heading from that one. That's the crash pulse, or the delta V measure. I guess that delta V is the change of velocity over time, so these are milliseconds. So for the first column is how many milliseconds, so thousandths of a second, versus how much speed is being lost. And at its highest value at the bottom is 37.2. It's being depressed at 37.2 in 230 milliseconds, so 230 thousandths of a second. Question, what is longitudinal and latitudinal crash pulse? Answer, you guys, hold on, I have to let Thor out because he's just gonna bark if I don't. 1 second, you guys, I apologize. Talks amongst yourselves. Oh wait, somebody's coming down. Maybe they'll be nice enough to do it for me. What is longitudinal and latitudinal crash pulse? Lateral is front and back. Longitudinal is side to side. Question, taking you to page 7 of your report, what is the information included here? Answer, this is a steering input we previously spoke about. I have highlighted it. Again, it's a continuation from the previous page. It's the yaw rate, the lateral turning of the car, and the steering input in degrees is the second column. What was your conclusion from this data? The conclusion that I have from the data is that at 4.5 seconds prior to the EDR waking up, that there was moderate turning. At the time the computer initially woke up, there was a substantial hard right turn of 142.5 degrees, enough for the computer to trigger a rollover event. Question, as part of your investigation, did you visit the crash site? Answer, no, I did not. Question, take us through the information on page 8, please. Answer, one of the things that I was asked to address is a still shot from the surveillance footage that showed there was a brief highlight of the brake lights on the vehicle, and I was asked to explain why. If the service brake was never engaged, why the brake lights turned on? And I was able to answer that based on Sergeant Fox from the Ohio State Highway Patrol's report. He was actually in touch with Toyota's service line technician. They explained as part of their safety measures, cars are now equipped with radar and crash sensing computers, and when it sensed a crash approaching, it pulsed the brake lights is their explanation of what happened, and I found no reason to contradict that information, so I adopted it verbatim from Sergeant Fox's report. Question, were you able to make any final conclusions about the data I reviewed? Is determined that the vehicle was traveling with the accelerator pedal fully engaged prior to impact. The vehicle then had a hard steering event to the right, which woke up the computer and struck the curb, landed, which triggered another frontal impact, and continued into the wall. At no point during this entire sequence was the service brake applied. My data is limited to the 4.6 seconds that the Toyota provides. It showed for that entirely. Prior to the hard steering, the accelerator was at 100% and the brake was not applied. I don't know what happened prior to that 4.6 seconds. Mr. Troop, 1 moment please, Your Honor. No further questions. The court, cross. Here goes the cross-examination by MACKENZIE's lawyer. Sir, my name is Jim McDonald. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. If at any time you don't understand the question, ask me to repeat it or rephrase it. Fair enough? Fair. Does the black box significantly in general when somebody would have pressed the accelerator to 100 degrees? Isn't that a triggering event? Answer. If it generated enough delta V, just pressing the pedal alone would not. It would have to substantially reduce the speed in a certain amount of time for it to wake up the black box. Reduce the speed? I'm talking about accelerating the speed. Answer. Generally speaking, the accelerator would not wake up the black box. Would not? Because even the fastest cars can't accelerate fast enough to trigger that much speed gain in the milliseconds it would take. We're talking fractions of a second. Question, the EDR box, it basically breaks it down into milliseconds, right? Each event? Answer, it depends on how often the vehicle reports the data. Question, as it relates to this event, once it started at 4.6 seconds prior to the crash, how many, in what time increments was it broken down? Answer, half-second increments. Half-second? Yes. We get a snapshot every half-second or 9 times total. Answer, correct. Question, at 4.6 seconds, what triggered the black box? Answer, I'm sorry if I was not clear. It wasn't at 4.6 second mark that triggered it. It was the hard steering events that triggered it. But the way the computer records it, it takes 4.6 seconds prior to the trigger. So the trigger was the steering and it recorded back 4.6 seconds. Huh? So from the hard steering backwards, there was nothing? There was information that showed the prior steering that was going on. It wasn't substantial steering, but there was some steering going on. When did the first steering occur? The car was always being steered to some degree. When was it? The first triggering event was trigger 5. It also recorded 4.6 seconds back. In trigger 5, what happened? There was a hard steer to the right. Before that hard steer, were there prior steerings? There was some minor steering before that. 2 of them, right? There was a small steering to the right and a small steer to the left. But then a very hard steer to the right. So at what point did the slight steer to the right occur? The slight? The first? I can't say for sure because at 4.6 seconds prior, it was already engaged to the right to some degree. I don't know when it started. All I can tell you is when it started recording. Question, what was the degree for the slight right turn? The first recorded mark was 10.5 degrees. So it goes 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. Correct. So 10 degrees, something like that, right? So I guess he showed that's a little more than 10. And then there was a steer to the highest steer to the right. No, I'm talking about the first. You said there was a 10 degree steer to the right. Continued to the right and then 28 degrees, then back to 22 degrees. And then it was a 1.5 degree to the left. From where it ended back to there, yes. A 1.5 degree turn is not a turn at all. You can't tell us when that occurred. That 1.5 degree left turn occurred at 3.5 seconds prior to the hard turn to the right. The hard turn to the right occurred at what point? In the reference to the last 4.6 seconds. That would be 0.0 for that event. Trigger 5. 0.0 is always the triggering event, and then it goes backwards. How much time passed from the hard right turn to the point of impact? 1.1 seconds. 1.1 seconds? Yes. You said the second right turn, third turn, was how many degrees? 142.5 degrees. So more than 90 degrees. Yes. And about a little closer to the 180 than the 90, right? Yes. Very significant. Correct. And that was the first triggering event? Yes. Registered as a rollover? Right. It's at that point that the seatbelts deployed, correct? The court, seatbelt airbags? Question, airbags. Answer, no, the airbags deployed later. There was another event that registered a side airbag deployment. When was that? That event? I don't have it listed in my report because I didn't list it as a frontal impact. I believe that would be trigger 10. Question, you believe or you know? Answer, I would need the CDR report. Question, you didn't bring it up with you? Answer, no. Question, showing you States Exhibit 31. Answer, it will take me 1 second. Take whatever time you need. I referenced it in my report on page 3. Trigger 10 was listed as a side crash. It was the airbags deployed from the side at least. Are you saying both sides? It was just saying airbags deployed. In your experience doing accident reconstruction, tell us what the deployment of an airbag is. It's an explosion of gas that fills a bag to prevent injury in an accident. And it's a pretty violent act, correct? Right. It can cause people in the car to move, right? It can. Not only can, but in your experience, it does. Yes. And also, when the airbag is deployed, there's some powder that's also released, right? Yes. And describe what that powder is. I don't know what the chemical makeup is, but it's like a dust. That would be the best way to describe it. A dust? If you're anywhere in the car, it's like a huge bang to you, and it dusts everything all over. Yes. And that occurred right after the hard, how many degree? 42.5 degrees. A 42-degree turn to the right? Yes. And you were not in the car, so you don't know who or what caused that steering wheel to go that direction, right? I only know the steering wheel went in that direction. That's all that you can tell us? Yes. In your experience as an accident reconstructionist, is there a term or a concept of the time it takes from someone to perceive something until they react to it? Yes. What is that called? It's the time of perception. Time of perception and time of reaction. Is it a pretty standard number? It's hard to measure. There's an industry acceptance of a value of 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds? From the time it takes to perceive a threat and to respond, 1.5 seconds before I even do anything? Right. And there's also a term in your business called pedal misapplication. I'm not familiar with that term. You're not? No, I've never heard it in my training. It's fair. And how about occupant kinematics? Yes. What is that? It's the movement of the body inside the vehicle prior to and post crash. There are people that are experts in that area, right? Yes. But you're not. I am not. In your report, you talk about hitting curbs, correct? Yes. I wasn't there, so I don't know. Based on the images provided, it looks like they struck that curb before striking the wall. Is that the only curb you're talking about? Yes. Did you say that you thought it hit a curb once or twice? I don't know. All I know for sure, based on those pictures that I was provided, it definitely drove through the one curb before. Traveling down the street, you don't know anything about that car other than the last 4.75 seconds, correct? Correct. Would you agree that the side curtain airbag inflates with 20 to 30 milliseconds of triggering event? I will have to take a look. Absolutely. Yeah, that is an appropriate time. Pardon? That's an appropriate time, about 30 milliseconds. That's why it looks like there are 3 events, but they are all happening simultaneously on top of each other. They're all essentially happening within the same confines of time. That's why with Toyota, it looks like more is going on because it records every sequence of events as it's happening. Question, if someone's driving, there are all sorts of things happening in a split second, right? Yes. What are seatbelt pretensioners? Those are whenever you're involved in a change of speed, the seatbelt will lock in place to prevent movement. Were you able to determine if that happened here? I wasn't. I didn't examine the car. That wouldn't have been available from the black box? No. How long does the airbag remain deployed once inflated? There's a lot of things that can go into it, so I can't give you a time. I don't know is the answer, I guess. It doesn't deflate? No. Right away? No. It stays there to protect the people, right? Right. And then Mr. McDonald, no further question. Redirect, and then there's a quick redirect, but I have to let Thor in real quick because he's just gonna bark if I don't. So give me 1 second. Talks nicely among Okay, I'm back. Oh, 1 second. Do. All right, we're almost done, you guys. But thank you for hanging in there. And if some people have to like go to bed or something, I totally understand. I just want to get the whole live out. All right, let's see. Thorsty's back. Thorsty. Crazy dog. Okay. Here we go. We're almost done this. So, let me see. Is there anything else here? It says, Sergeant, this was the redirect. I want to clarify the 42.5 degree turn that you identified was trigger 5. Yes. Is it your testimony that that hard right turn took place less than 2 seconds prior to impact? Prior to impact, yes. What was the exact time? 1.1 seconds. 1.1 seconds prior to impact is when that event took place? Yes. And is that event also the same event that caused the airbags to deploy? No, the turn is not what caused the airbags to deploy. What caused the airbags to deploy? I don't know for sure. It's listed as a side impact. It comes slightly after the hard turn event. It certainly doesn't come before the hard turn event. No. Therefore, it wouldn't be within that 1.1 seconds before impact. Yes. Mr. Troop, I have no further questions. Recall? Nothing, Your Honor. You're all done, sir. Thank you. And the witness was excused. Ooh. Okay, let's see what I have here real quick. In my notes, we're getting close to the end. Okay, so now we added the third category here of in the evidence. This is where the conversation treated as a complete explanation where any uncertainty is used to pretend the result means nothing. The testimony was more disciplined than their extreme. So wait, let me see. How many more things do I have here? So we just did this part, so hold on, let me just finish it. Sergeant Adam McQuill was accepted as an expert in the accident reconstruction and forensic evidence data recording analysis. He explained that the EDR file can contain information about what the vehicle was doing before and during the recorded event. Depending on the vehicle and the system, that may include speed, throttle, or accelerator input, braking, restraint status, and changes associated with impact. The first thing to understand is investigators do not simply look at a screen and announce a conclusion. The court hears how the vehicle was identified, how the module or data were assessed, what equipment and software was used, whether the file was preserved, and how the values were interpreted. The defense can challenge each link though, right? So the second issue is the timing window. The EDR data typically captured a limited interval associated with an event, not the entire drive and not the entire human story. That short interval can be extraordinarily important because it records driver inputs and vehicle states close to the impact. It remains a window, not a biography. The third issue for me is the difference between action and intention. Oh, thank you, Joey. Oh, I got a happy poop. You're the best. You're the best. Thank you. JC says that the testimony really makes it sound like Dom grabbed the wheel. I'm not disagreeing. Ivy, thank you, Ivy. I got another happy poop. I don't know why they make me happy, but they do. Thank you, you guys. Thank you so much. So the third issue, real quick again, is the action and intention. If the data shows sustained accelerator input, a rising speed, no braking until a particular point, or shifted inputs near the impact, those actions or vehicle states. Intent is a legal inference made from actions plus the circumstances. The machine does not label a field murderous intent, okay? The prosecution argued that the pattern combined with the root video, prior events, and other evidence supported purpose. The defense tested whether the alternative explanations remained plausible. This is where the earlier Life 360 evidence can be compared, but not substituted. And I think that you're still here. Let me see. Yes, Angry Killjoy is still here. So Angry Killjoy is for you. Life 360 described a broader route and displayed driving events. The EDR addressed a narrow pre-impact interval. Surveillance and scene evidence supplied geometry and movement. The power is in the layered reconstruction. So we read this part. When we're looking at this stuff, right, we need to identify what they were looking at. I think they did a good job of trying to depict it here. I was going to pull up all this stuff, but it's getting late. We don't have to go into exactly what it is that they were looking at here. But what hypothesis would you predict from what we just heard, right? So would the accident pedal misapplication look the same? Could it be panic? Could impairment? Could there be deliberate acceleration? The answer for me is not determined by one word. Competing hypotheses, and remember, a hypothesis is just an educated guess, must be tested against the entire path, the duration of the input, braking evidence, roadway geometry, steering path evidence, and the other testimony. I actually think it was interesting that the defense didn't make more of a stink that he didn't go to the actual scene of the crash. That was interesting to me because, like it's saying here, depending on roadway geometry, stuff like, I guess you could get those things without being at the scene. How important would going to the actual scene be? I'm curious what you guys think. So this is evidence-based reasoning. Can I imagine an alternative here? So almost anything can be imagined. The better question is, which explanation best accounts for the greatest amounts of verified evidence with the fewest unsupported assumptions? Possible is not the same as equally supported. But you know what I mean? We have to look here. So the last part that I have here is the strongest defense reading. And I have this. Where is it? A fair analysis must state the strongest defense reading as a coherent theory, not as just a person. The defense could emphasize youth, fatigue, substance use, the possibility of confusion or panic, the limitations of app-based speed information, like with Life 360, gaps in witness observation, and the difference between dangerous driving and purposeful plan to kill. It could challenge whether the prior relationship conflict provided what happened on this specific drive. Here, wait, let me... Final things here. Hold on. Okay, so let me just finish what I was saying real quick. So there's limitations here, right? We're also looking at gaps in witness observation and the difference between dangerous driving and purposeful plan to kill. It could challenge, and we're talking about the defense here, whether the prior relationship conflict between Dom and MACKENZIE provided what happened on this specific drive. It could argue that technical data record action, but not subjective intent. So we can show these things, but doesn't give us intent behind it. Each of these points deserves evaluation, in my opinion. Youth can affect judgment, you guys. I'm not, none of this is, there's so many angles to this, but youth can affect your judgment. It does not automatically negate intent, though. Impairment can reduce control, but intoxication is not universal explanation for a sustained sequence. A witness gap creates uncertainty, but not all gaps are equally important when objective records cover part of the interval. The EDR data does not record a thought, right? But intent is routinely inferred from behavior and circumstances. Prior conflict can provide context, but context cannot replace proof of the charged event, in my opinion. The defense's strongest principle is therefore valid. Do not convert a tragic outcome into proof of purpose. The prosecution's response is also valid in principle. Purpose may be inferred from a coordinated pattern of actions before impairment, particularly when the pattern is difficult to reconcile with the accident. The judge's task was to weigh which inference the evidence supported beyond a reasonable doubt. For our purposes, the ethical discipline is to name both the evidence and the inferential step. The data we're going to show that that X, we can show that X is different and X supports an inference of Y. This is getting really technical, and I feel like I'm in my statistics class, so I do apologize for that. But once you hear the distinction, you will notice how often most people will skip that. So I like to keep take both things into account. Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan were not evidence props. Dominic was a son, a brother, a boyfriend, and friend. Davion was messaging a friend from a summer night. He was also a son and a brother and a friend. Part of Life 360 Circle. He was moving through ordinary plans that he had every reason to expect would lead to another day. The medical examiner's testimony established cause and mechanisms of death and helped connect the collision to the fatality. We do not need to display graphic photographs to understand the consequences. The ethical question is whether an image could teach something necessary that cannot be explained through words, diagrams, or testimony. If the answer is no, we shouldn't show it. And that's why, there's some things you just shouldn't show. Isn't 90 miles per hour reckless? 100%. Is it murder? That's what I'm saying, right? It's reckless, 1,000%. Thank you, Joanne. You are so amazing. Thank you. I don't believe she deliberately crashed. I don't even think there's evidence of reckless driving. So, okay. Let's see, 90 miles per hour was most likely criminal speed. So this is the thing, right? So whether you intend for someone to die or not, if you're going 90 miles an hour, especially in something zoned for, what was it, like 30, which just means that they check to see what the proper speed should be on that road. So if you're going that much over it, you have to, and my kids know this. I have a daughter that just turned 18, so she is Mackenzie's age at the time of the crash. And she will tell you, she drives. She knows that if she was in this car, like she knows that going 90 miles an hour in that 35 mile, like there could have been somebody walking. I know it was like early in the day, but still, you just never know. But she knows that if she's going to drive that fast in that situation, that she also has accountability if, God forbid, something horrible happens. So for me, even if there wasn't intentions, there still is laws broken here, right? So I do think that there needs to be accountability. I think that, just being like, oh, what a bad accident, even if there was no, and this is just my opinion, but I think that either way, there needs to be accountability for driving 90 miles an hour. And remember, we said, what did you say it was? An entire minute. A minute doesn't seem very long until you're counting the 60 seconds, and then all of a sudden it seems so much longer than, just saying a minute. So I don't know. I feel like we need to, that's another thing. So I don't know. I think you would appreciate it, actually, Angry Killjoy. I think I mentioned it to you in the comments on like another episode, but I don't know if you ever got it. I want you to, if you want to, obviously, but I would like you to go to my videos after, right? Or whenever you have time. And one of my very first videos that I ever made on this platform was MACKENZIE SHIRILLA from a developmental psychology perspective. And I think if you watch that, you'll see, and this was a long time ago before all of that FOIA stuff dropped. So at the time, I only knew what we knew publicly and, things of that nature. We didn't have like that site we could go to with all the evidence. We didn't have the transcripts, stuff like that. We didn't even have the transcripts 5 days ago, or 3 days ago rather. But this stuff wasn't out there. So I wasn't as jaded with, the points against her. So I think you should watch it, because thousands of teenagers are in fatal crashes every year, 1,000%. The thing is, okay, let me give you an example. And you know what? I'm thinking about this. So my boyfriend, when we were in high school, he was in an accident and 2 people were killed in the accident. They weren't in the same car, but he was under investigation for, what was it, vehicular homicide. That's what it was. And it was such a scary time, and he was devastated about it. Like, I knew that he had no intentions of anyone dying. Like, what had happened was, we now have a light at this intersection, but we didn't before. And when you went up the hill, you couldn't see if somebody was coming this way. So the guy was trying to beat the light from turning red. So they were trying to turn real quick before the light turned. But he also was probably trying to get past the light before it turned red. So it was just, they collided at the wrong time. And 2 people died in the crash. And I mean, like, it haunted him for the longest time. There was no charges pressed. But it wasn't until after they got all of the evidence, the black box, all the things, they tested his blood, they did all, he wasn't drinking, there was no drug, like, they were able to show that there was no intent to, like, harm it, like, it was an accident. And I don't know, vehicular manslaughter, I think it's vehicular homicide is what it's called in Pennsylvania, but he was never charged with that. So you're right, there are thousands of teenagers that are in fatal crashes every single year. I will give you that. Realistically, the speed limit was 30. Realistically, the vehicle was traveling at least 90. That's speeding. 2 teens lost their lives. That's my thing. So that's what I was going to say too, Killjoy. I would never, I hate even having this thought experiment, if you will, but if you could picture your loved one being the one whose life was taken, like, I still feel like, wait, the angry Killjoy says it was possibly manslaughter, but what happened has not been proven. Well, I don't know. You mean like I don't know if I'm hearing you correctly. Are you saying like what she's been charged for now, murder? I hear you. But as far as manslaughter or vehicular homicide, I think even her dad said that he, do you know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, like YouTube Bad Actor says, what other proof is there? The intent part, that's the part. Okay, so Alexa, my thing is, for me, and I don't know what the law is there, but from what I have been, from what I know, intent is what made it murder, right? That's the part that I don't know about. I personally, and this is just me personally, I'm just a human, I'm not a lawyer, I'm none of those things. From what I've seen, I don't think she was like, not only do I not think that like she drove down the road like, oh, I'm going to kill Dom and Davion. Like, I don't think that either. I actually think that there's a good defense in asking if she really had intent to kill Dom, why didn't she do so when they left to go get the snacks earlier in the night? So, and I think there's a good argument there, and I don't know why the defense never brings that up. Like, why didn't they bring that up? So, yeah, I don't think it was planned either, JC. I think, in my opinion, again, and YouTube Bad Actor says it too, angry Killjoy, I think we're all agreeing. We all agree that none of us see the evidence of intent, but we all do see evidence of reckless driving, for sure. So whether you mean to or not, like, you need to let your kids know, and your nieces, and I feel like when we get our license, we should know that if you go 90 in a 30 and 2 people die, you're probably going to jail. So that's all. Just like your kids should know that if you ever go somewhere, if somebody with them pulls a gun out or something and holds somebody up, that they're going to go to jail too. If somebody murders something and you're there, like, so that same thing. So I feel like we tell our kids all those other things. That's all I'm saying. So reckless homicide, absolutely, that's what I would go with as well, in my opinion. I actually think that there's evidence to show that she was not suicidal, right? I probably just demonetized my entire stream. It won't affect anything you guys gave me. It's just the couple dollars YouTube does, but it's whatever. I don't even care at this point. So, but with that, I think that there was evidence to show that she was excited about her birthday coming up. Dom was going to take them all out to eat. She had an outfit already, all those things. I also think that her life was better with Dom in her eyes. Like, I think that Dom provided her with the things, like material things she needed. He had his own place. She was able to get away from her family, who she loves now, but didn't so much then. And I'm not being disrespectful. A lot of teenagers are like that, so I'm not even saying like she doesn't like her family. It could have been a teenage thing, whatever. But I'm saying if I'm getting in her head at the time, and I do take into consideration the lack of brain development, it could very well be that she had a fear of abandonment, and for whatever reason, whatever they were arguing about in that car, I can't help to think that it could have been tied to impulse control, right? And an impulsive thing at the end. I even wouldn't be surprised if she never meant to crash. Like, do you guys remember that like a month before this, she reports, and I don't know if there's evidence of it, so this is just alleged, but she reports to her mom in one of the jail calls that they should have got Kendra. Why didn't Kendra go on the stand? That Kendra could have told the judge that just a month before, Dom had driven really fast on the road with her and Kendra in the car to scare them because he got mad that MACKENZIE dropped the blunt in the car and could have burnt the seat or the floor or whatever it was. So, and she said they were like petrified. So for me, I wouldn't be surprised if this was now something she did, like, oh, how do you like it with you and your friend in the car, and then loses control because she just is going way too fast in that environment. She'd only been driving for less than a year, so who knows. Joseph Scott Morgan, let me tell you, so as soon as I wrap this up, which is going to be in a few minutes, I'm going to go over and watch that. I can't wait to watch that. If she lost consciousness, fell asleep, her slipper fell off or got stuck, she bent down to get it. I don't think that. In my opinion, I don't think she bent down. I think panic likely set in. She was conscious, though. Just my opinion. Countless possibilities of reckless homicide. Countless where she is innocent and sure she's possibly intentional, but likely. Oh, where do you see? How can you argue innocence? If the defense had an expert testify to explain, show patterns of lack of impulse control, it would have had been a different outcome. So, and I think one thing that we definitely agree on is that it was a 6-minute ride at 5:30 a.m. But what does that have to do with innocence? No way she was bending down to get a slipper while flooring it. Yeah, my opinion too, Harlot. I agree with you. No way. And her foot would have been on the gas, so why not use the other foot or that foot, take it out of the shoe? That's the thing. Like, it wasn't that her foot was in a sneaker, like where it was hard to get out. It's a slipper. So even if her slipper did get stuck, you would just swipe it out of, like, you would get it with your foot. You would probably kick it out of the way or slam on the brake, you know what I mean? But the brake was never slammed on. Casey, hey Casey. How you doing? Casey, I love days in bed days. I love you, Casey. You're the best. But yeah, I don't see innocence here. Now, I do see a scenario where if she had a jury that she would have been found not guilty, but not because the jury didn't think she did anything, but because they didn't think she murdered anybody, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because she slammed. Now, Angry Killjoy, you have a better argument, in my opinion, saying that what if she slammed on the gas instead of the brake? That, to me, is more credible, in my opinion, than she slammed on the gas, gets stuck, and tries to bend down to get it. But it is, I mean, people, but this is the thing. She slammed on, even if you slam on the gas, just like we just read in that in the testimony, no car goes so fast that when you slam on the gas, like if I go out in my car right now, my car goes really fast. I love my car. I have a 9-speed. It's awesome. It's like one of my favorite possessions. But if I go out there and I put my foot all the way down to the ground, it's still going to take a few seconds to pick up momentum. It doesn't just go from 0 to 90 in a second. So you would have to, like, this is my thing. It's plausible that somebody could go to lose control, maybe think they're going to hit something and accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake. I see that. But to hit the gas and then hold it down for that long, even if your foot gets stuck, you would take your foot out of the slipper and kick it. I just feel like, or you would, I don't know. I don't see that part. If there had been a jury, we would have all had a verdict sheet, lesser charges, they would have likely convicted her. I agree with you. If there had been lesser charges, I don't know if there were lesser charges presented. And that could be a problem. Sometimes, I think that's what happened with Casey Anthony. Do you guys remember? They didn't have lesser charges, and the jury said that they didn't prove to them at least how Kaylee died, so that's why they said not guilty, not because they did. So they said that there were other things. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. But if there were lesser charges, I just don't know if they were there. Hey, are you Sunny now? Do you think she ever visualized the crash happening? So I got triggered by Dom wanting and got triggered. This is the thing, are you Sunny now? The Dom wanting to leave, I think they broke up so often that even if like we were in his head, and even if, and this is just my opinion, even if he was like dead ass serious that time, like on God type shit, I don't know that she would have interpreted it as that. Do you know it? Because they broke up so much. So even if he fully intended to break up, again, my opinion. Oh, Joanne, you are so nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I wish I could give you a big ass hug. I do think she could have daydreamed about it. So, a wise woman. I see a scenario because just 2 weeks before, she, whether, right or wrong, she says that Dom tried to run her off the road. What was it? The July 17th? I have such a good memory. On July 17th. So, it was already in her thought process, if you will. So then let's see what you said. You said, oh, that's a good one. Where I live, if a death occurs during the commission of a dangerous crime, regardless of intent, it's considered murder. Same here at second-degree murder where I am. JC says, it's crazy to say I think she was a better driver than that, to accidentally floor the gas. Legally guilty says, exactly, Harlot. And the parents never got her proper therapy and were also walking on eggshells to give her consequences. Oh, Harlot, I would see what you said. Well, I guess I have to go back to look. But yes, I agree about the parents. I agree. If you're about to crash and think you're pressing the brake, you aren't lifting your foot. But the thing is, she would have been, it's not like, when I'm saying that people all the time, my mom did it before. She accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake, but she was in line at the bank. So when she did it, she slammed into the person in front of her. I was like, oh my God, Mom. But she, it just happened right there. She hit the gas instead of the brake. This would be that she would have had to keep her foot on the gas after hitting the gas by accident, then keep it there for an extended amount of period of time. That's the part I have a problem with, in my opinion. I'm only hung up on her intent. I don't think she had intent to kill them. Yeah, she is luckier. Yeah, I agree with you, Alexa. I think we're at the same part. I don't think that she had that intent either. But that's also the problem, right? Is that we need to teach our kids, just like I'm sure you teach Addie when she drives. Or if she, I don't know if she drives yet. But, I hope Addie wouldn't even know. If you're going to do 90 miles an hour in a 30 and two of your friends, two people, you're going to have to take accountability for that. That's all. She was already going 30. She's driving a Toyota though. Like, I don't think Toyotas go from 40 to 90 in a second. Like, it takes a minute. I remember, so Alexa's talking about, so angry killjoy, even if she's going 45, like, you still have to get to 90. I don't know if you drive, but, and I'm not, maybe I should take that back. I take that back. Kids do think they're invincible. It goes fast, but not that fast. And again, this is, I'm just being honest, this is like, I've gone 90 before, but not, I'm sure I have. I'm just saying, like, in my thought processes of now, like, I'm sure when I was younger, who knows? But yeah. Oh, great question, JC. Is an eating disorder considered self-harm? 100% it's considered self-harm. JC, if you're interested in that topic, I consider myself an expert on eating disorders. You should go watch my live that I did on MACKENZIE and what I believe is an eating disorder. So eating disorders are a disorder of control, and I think she felt very out of control in her life. And I blame a lot of it, and I don't know, Angry Killjoy, if, like, I hope you're not somebody close to the family that is offended by this, but I don't think her parents did her any favors, that's all. I think that when we don't hold our kids accountable for the little things, like in the house even. So, I mean, I'm talking little things like, I told you before you leave that you had to do the dishes and clean your room and you did neither, so now you're not going out on Friday. And then sticking to it and not letting them out on Friday so that they know next time that when they're supposed to do things like that. But if you don't have those things at home first, it makes it easier to think that the rules, maybe not to think that they're not for you, and you could argue that that happens sometimes here, but you should always be thinking, right? And that's the thing. And not all kids are going to think. That's not what I'm suggesting here, but it's up to us as parents to have conversations with our kids. And we're not going to have every conversation with our kid, right? Of course, there's going to be another situation where we forgot to tell them, oh, in that scenario, you should do X, Y, and Z. The point is that you give them enough practice and enough as many conversations and so on and so forth so that they can use what they've learned and apply it in different areas. And that's the hope. And are there going to be kids that mess up? Absolutely. But that's another thing, right? As soon as they're in the hospital, there's more than one witness that says that they asked them not to speak to the police, and that Steve might have even said allegedly to Bubba, you need to help me save my daughter type thing. I'm a parent. I get that, but they go too far in my opinion. Even with Steve saying about the time where she did something at school and he had to leave work to go get her, and he walked in and said, did you do it? And she said no, and he said, good enough for me. Like, I feel like there's just no accountability, and that's just my opinion. But I think, wait, what did you say here? Yes, Casey, go back to bed. I'm going to hang up anyway, so you'll be mad at yourself if you don't go back to bed. You stay awake, and now you're all awake because I'm finished. I think her parents are idiots. You're so funny, Killjoy. Okay, then we're good. So then I think a lot of this goes back to that. What's going on with the Sarah Grace Patrick case? I want Dr. Brandon to cover that. She's 17-year-old accused of killing her mom and stepfather. So let me tell you, I was not... Oh, thank you. You are so generous, Ivy. Thank you. I love that. The reason I'm not covering other cases right now, and I want to cover the David case because I've already covered it and I just feel like I have so much to say, but as much as I want to talk about that case, I stopped myself because I promised myself for a month I'm going to go with my analytics, and my analytics said to stick with MACKENZIE SHIRILLA, so I stuck with MACKENZIE SHIRILLA. So hopefully all of you out there share this, like this, subscribe to the channel so that I know to continue to do this, because I genuinely use data to make my decisions on what I should be doing next, or at least that's what I'm going to try to do. If MACKENZIE SHIRILLA ever learned stuff like that, those kids might all be alive now. I guess that's the point, right? So how can we have these conversations? Because if one person that watches this stream tonight, even, you know, and I always say, use me as an excuse to bring it up. Literally, like, I usually say it in the teaching content text, like, you know, tell your friends you learned this in class, or, oh my gosh, today in class we talked about da da da. True Sleuth, thank you so much. Thank you. That was so very generous of you. But I always say, like, use me as an example or as a reason, and say something like, oh yeah, today we were listening to this thing and da da da. You know, if you were ever in this situation, I just like want to make sure that you know to da 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 da. Stuff like that. And I just don't know how many of those conversations Mackenzie's parents had with her. That's all. Lindsay Clancy trial starts Monday. That's right. She's very likely was postpartum. Oh gosh, I wonder if the jury will know enough about it to be sensitive to it. Legally guilty. Not only that, I don't think there's a lot of people sensitive to that thought process, even within our YouTube community. So I too think that it was postpartum, but a lot of people don't. I don't even think Cuffy thinks it was postpartum, but we'll have to talk about it. And Cuffy's a nurse, so like, you know, but we'll definitely talk about that. I did do that case before. Maybe I'll do one night where I do like, I don't know, like updates or something. Casey named it before, follow-up Fridays, and we can do like a follow-up Friday of all the other cases too. We'll see. Oh man, I cried again listening to the transcript from yesterday's oh, I can't, Alexa, right? Don't you want to just jump and punch him? And not only that, the fact that everyone that was in there said that he looked at the picture of the decapitated and severed body, like that he looked at it the whole time when everybody else was like, and Trapmore also, you know, he said that he wanted to look at it just to know that, like, he wanted to take it all in, and he was looking at, like, you know, to see what reactions were and stuff, but he said even wanting to make sure that he took it all in, that it still was hard to even look at. Like, he still found himself looking away. Everyone said that David looked the entire time, and that to me is just, that says so much. Like, that is psychology jumping right out to me. One of your friends had postpartum psychosis. I walked to her house and the baby was screaming and she was blank staring at the wall. Legally guilty? Wow. You might have saved, not the baby's life, but like even just anything. It's so hard for people. Hopefully your friend got help after that. Wow, it is such a real thing. He has bragged previously on interviews that he purposely desensitized himself to gore for years now, and that he likes it better than corn. What 20-year-old kid says that? I get all choked up, and he's so cold, and that's the problem. He's so cold, in my opinion, too. Oh, I feel so bad for Celeste's family. Yeah. Some of these kids, it's just terrible. And you want to know what I see a common theme there too, which I see a lot of, even with like the Reiner kids. And there's mental illness in the Reiner kid. I'm not even saying that, but I do see a common theme of privilege, but privilege in a different way. You could be privileged and not be this way, but I feel like, so maybe privilege isn't the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? They're very, like they expect, oh my God, to begin, what the word I'm looking for? It's really late, I think. They feel entitled. That's the word. I just had to think of it for a second. Entitled. So a lot of these people feel entitled, in my opinion, and that is a problem. Oh, he probably was getting off on it. I wouldn't, entitled, thank you guys. I would not be surprised. You have to take a break from it mentally. You have to know your limits 100%. All right, you guys, it's 2 a.m. and I have to leave at 7:30. Well, we're leaving at 8, but I'm saying 7:30 in my head so that I'm like ready by 7:45. We have to go to college tomorrow. We're going to Ava's new university. I don't know what to expect, but it's from 8 to like 3. I'm like, what in the hell are we going to do all day? So we'll see, but it should be good. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I hope it's like not outside all day. Yes, thank you. We'll see what happens. I know, it's a whole day. I'm like, college isn't even all day like that. Like, what's happening? You called 911 for your friend and she got help and her mother made her come home. Oh, good. Her hubby worked a lot and so they wanted to keep her from being alone with the baby. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Alexa, JC. Thank you to all of you. Thank you for listening to all of our different opinions as well. Oh my God, I just had a brain free, angry killjoy. I had like a brain fart for a second. And Birdie, thank you for the memberships. Oh my God, you guys, didn't I say that I would gift memberships? I'm not a liar. Thank you, Birdie, for gifting memberships. Let's see who gets them. You guys, let's give some memberships for hanging in there. Thank you, True. Thank you, Harlot. True Sleuth and Harlot. Yes. And I got a happy poop. Oh, yeah. Love it. All right. Let's go to my channel. And we're going to go to... I got another happy poop. JC gave me jewels. Thank you, JC. Wow, you guys. All right, let's see what happens. We know that. Oh, look. Jewels. Thank you, JC. Wow, you guys. I had to get him my live. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Convulse Bloom, thank you. Hopefully you guys will be part of the part of me doing this. Who else did it? What did you miss? Cynthia, you didn't miss anything, Cynthia, because you're going to watch on the replay, I hope. And you're already subscribed, I hope. So hopefully you are. Joanne, thank you. Oh my God. Thank you, Convulse Bloom. You guys are so... Oh my God, what is this? Now what? Holy mackerel. Hold on, let's see. Oh wait, JC, don't go yet. I'm about to gift 5 memberships. Thank you, a wise woman. Don't go yet, don't go yet. Let's see who gets the 5 memberships. Thank you, a wise woman. All right, you guys ready? I'm going to do the 5 memberships real quick, and then we're going to hang out. All right, membership. Membership. Thank you. Oh, my God. Thank you, you guys. That is so sweet. Thank you, a wise woman. All right, here we go. We're going to do it. Ready? 1, 2... 3. A wise woman. Yes, a wise woman. I hope this gets you one of them. Here we go. Let's see who gets them. All right, we got 5 new members. Cynthia received one. There you go, Cynthia. Kent Valley, Beverly, Tiramisu Lover, and Red Fox. Oh, it wasn't.
Thank you.
Well, Cynthia got one. That was good. Cynthia was here. You guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And thank you to those of you who are now part of the Minds Behind True Crime with Dr. Vona, where we put the fun and dysfunctional. So thank you to all of you. And I hope you guys all come back in my next live, which I don't know exactly what day that'll be, but I'm trying. We'll figure it out.
Thank you.
But thank you guys so much. Thank you to my mods. Wow. And yes, Cynthia, you're a member. I'm so glad you got one, Cynthia. See, you came in at the right time. We have to get a wise woman one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Harlot. You are the best. Alexa, you're awesome. You're all awesome. I love all of you. Thank you all. If I start saying everyone's name, we'll be here until tomorrow morning when I have to leave. Because that's just how I am. But thank you guys so very much for being here. You 2 bad actors, you need one. Yes. We'll get you on YouTube. We'll figure it out. But you got, oh, Joanne, thank you. You are the best. Joanne, I wish you got one too from that. I wish I could handpick them, but I can't. I do apologize. And I think all the people that got them deserve them too, especially Miss Cynthia, because you're here and that was great. So thank you guys again. I love you all. Thank you, mods. I couldn't do this without you. You're always here for me. Oh, Downbound. We got to get you one too, Downbound. Have a good night, everyone. Angry Killjoy, thank you for having such a good attitude about, you know, us all sometimes not always having the, and thank you to everybody in chat too. Like, we are the coolest freaking chat ever. That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean? Are you Sunny now? Thank you for being here too. And I give out 5 more memberships before the end of the month, which is in what, a week? So keep coming back. It might be your day. And I know that it has something to do with engagement, I think too. I could be wrong, but it used to at least. So when you're like looking at other lives and stuff, like even put stuff in the chats, and that's how it used to be. I don't know if it's still that way, but who knows? It might up your chances. Cynthia, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. That's so generous. All right, you guys. On that note, I'm going to go get some sleep because I got to go to college tomorrow. Not that that's like something different from what I do all the time, but I've never been here, so I've been there, just not as the mother of a kid going, you know what I mean? I love you guys. Good night.